Hey guys, the studio is almost fully finished. Should be done by next week, so I'm really excited about that. But in terms of today, I'm very stoked because we have an awesome guest, good buddy of mine, Dan Sugarman. You might know him from old school as Blood Runs Black, as well as Ice Nine Kills. Legendary dude, awesome songwriter, guitarist, musician. We talk all about the good old 578 days, 2000s nostalgia, going outside, and honestly had one of the most enlightening and introspective conversations I've had with another human being in a long time, as well as of course talking about guitar and tone. So be sure to watch the whole thing. And speaking of guitarists with sick tones, just like John Petrucci or Tim Henson or Tosin Abasi or Joe from Gojira, be sure to go check out neurodsp.com, link in the description below, and at checkout use code Nocturnal Podcast to get 30% off all of their sick plugins so you can have a sick tone, dude. Go check them out and watch the whole thing. Let's go, dude. It's been a minute, man. Oh my god, last time we chatted was I think it was you're mentioning Sweetwater when you came for the awards show, and that was a lot of fun. Thank you for doing that again, man. That was 2 years ago.
At least, dude, at least. I remember just being in this dark room that was like a small theater.
Yes.
Actually, it's a big theater, but yeah. I remember just being in there with 20 people watching you go ham as if there was 10,000 people in there, and you'd say something funny and we'd all be trying not to laugh to stay quiet, and it was we wanted to clap. We're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It was so fucking amazing.
Oh,
the amount of awkwardness in the air was
dude, I always forget that you guys couldn't hear what I was doing, so I would be talking and doing interactions, but without context, it's just nothingness and me being weird. Dude. Yeah, that was a great experience, man.
I imagine that's what actors feel like in front of a green screen.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, yeah.
And there's a dinosaur over, and you're give it up for this band, and you do this shit with your hands, and you're probably hearing a whoosh sound or something, and we're just what the fuck is he doing?
I'm also making a wish that, dude, it was crazy, but dude, that was so fun. That was one of the most fun things I ever do is having people awesome musicians like yourself come in dude, let's all hang, let's do something fun. And I know it's cramped kind of all in a day or so, but it's so cool. And dude, yeah, it's been a minute. How have you been? What's in Dan's life? What's Dan been up to? I've been seeing you do stuff with the interwebs and all that in terms of I know you got some solo stuff, and I know you've been doing some vocals and all that, but what's been up in your world, man?
Yeah, dude, shit's been really solid, man, on the old the dial-up interwebs. It's been good, dude. I feel like I'm in this era right now where I'm riding the fine line of hyper-focused creativity and then hyper-focused building of some shit in the background.
Okay.
And wearing two different kind of hats at the same time has been kind of challenging. So I'm sort of taking a couple days. I'm treating a couple days of the week as the season of creativity, and then a couple of the days are work and building and shit.
Yeah.
And as far as my ADHD ass goes, it's been helpful to kind of define those things like that. I kind of wake up and I go, okay, today's a fucking write music day.
Right.
Today's a day where I'm not going to eat dinner until 10 p.m. when I forgot that I didn't eat. You know what I mean? It's just
okay.
If I'm creating, I just forget, bro. I just disappear.
Yeah, dude, I have to put in the schedule when I eat. My wife and I have to meal prep because otherwise we forget to eat. Because I mean, if you're so locked into something creative, and if you're having fun, for sure, you're just the day goes by and then you eat late, and because we're all old now, we're ouch, our tummies when we wake up.
Yeah.
We're fuck, dude.
Yeah, and then you don't sleep as good, and then your next day, which is the work day, everyone else is getting a less good version of you.
Yep.
And your tummy still hurts.
And your tum still hurts, dude. And tums don't help that shit. It's just it's just getting old and pain. And waking up with back pain, that's cool. Great.
I know, dude.
New debuffs.
Bro, I've been I'm going to the fucking climbing gym all the fucking time and doing all these core training classes and shit. Mm-hmm. And my left knee started to hurt. And I have this buddy there who's yeah, bro, you just got to do more jump squats to get your knee. And I'm huh, that sounds like the opposite of what I would expect.
Hurts your knee. Yeah. That's an intensive knee exercise right there. Dude.
So I'm doing 100 jump squats while I'm brushing my fucking teeth because I need to stack things. If I don't do two things at once, I'm not doing it right. You know what I mean?
Damn. Okay.
And I'm all right, my knee's a little bit better, but now my right knee hurts from jumping. Fuck.
Yeah. dude.
It's
Yeah.
like there's
Do
no
you
winning, dude.
do you,
35 is good.
35 bucks. Do you feel like do you have to multitask things as nowadays like to maximize productivity in that kind of capacity? Like,
That's a good question. I feel like it's a mixture of maximizing productivity as well as like maximizing my entertainment in it so I can stay focused on
mm.
said task with an
So the
S.
multitasking makes you stay more focused.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's weird because I understand psychologically in a weird way, like I can relate to that, but I do
Yeah.
not know myself how to explain it, which is like,
Yeah, I do. I wish I had the words for it. Like
yeah,
I'm trying to explain it. Like if I'm walking my dog, I either do two types of walks where I'm either like this is a normal multitask where I'm absorbing like a podcast or an
right, right,
audiobook, right? But I'm like I will learn much fucking better if I'm like walking and doing something and I'm out
hmm
as opposed to me just like sitting down and reading a book. And as I'm like halfway through the paragraph, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I just read. And then I read the same paragraph for like
yeah,
5 fucking minutes, right? But if I'm out and about doing something, I absorb it exponentially better. And then the other kind that I started doing is kind of just like fucking dry walking, just like raw dogging it, where I just go like no earbuds, right? And I
okay.
just like raw dog,
That
raw
took me a
dogging a
second.
walk,
I'm like, you mean because it's not raining, or like why is it dry?
like no lube.
Oh, okay. It's that dry walk we see
Yeah,
in you. Yeah,
yeah. No mental lube. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
This
None
is
of that
definitely
brain
gonna be a
wax.
clip now.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
that
yeah,
part.
dude. We need shit. But then on those ones, what I've been doing is like I purposefully am trying to like I go on a walk and I'm like I'm going to write a melody and some lyrics.
Mhm.
And I'll just like until I'll start walking at a certain pace or whatever, and there's like a rhythm to how I'm moving, and all of a sudden like a fucking siren goes by, and I'm like, "There's the key. Okay, let me." And
Yep.
I just like build off of what's around me, right? Oh, that bird doing that little arpeggio would be fucking cool there. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And it's little things like that, but the connection of raw dogging,
Mhm.
lubeless walks has been really good for creative like thinking.
Mhm.
And then also it's like another that's the most common version of like what I call a stack,
Mhm.
like a multitasking stack sort of thing. But I'm special like that.
Dude, no, that actually that makes a lot of sense and a great description of it in the sense of like, dude, I feel like a lot of creatives undervalue taking seconds and trying to find creativity outside of the space that you expect to find creativity, which is sitting
Literally
down
outside. Yeah.
literally outside, dude. There's so many times where I go outside or like I get inspired by the sun. That's not, I don't know if that's some kind of like some fucking ancient shit or something where like
That's real,
because
bro.
it's sun and hot and like maybe like I'm like we're walking through the park or a garden, like I just like feel these specific, I don't know, this energy that makes you want to almost create the soundscape around that. Like you said, you hear birds and all this, and you're like, oh, that would be great as like an ambient layer, dude. Like, oh, what if we kind of threw like an old school like melodic metalcore riff with that? And then you're just like, ah, oh, dude, this is sick. And then you forget you're outside, so you can tell people are probably just like looking at you while you're just like figuring it out. They're
Yeah.
like, what is this person
Yeah.
doing? What
They're
the
like,
fuck?
this guy hasn't seen sun for a year. Like, what the fuck is this guy's
Yes.
problem? But there's
Yeah.
multiple aspects of that too, dude, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to get on all my like science nerdy bullshit, but
Right.
vitamin D is like the building block of your hormones.
Dude,
And
I
that
got a big ass container of this. As we get older, y'all need fucking
yeah,
vitamins.
dude,
Yeah,
take your
that's
vitamins. Yeah.
take your vites, dude. Yeah,
Hell yeah,
vitamin D,
vitamins.
vitamins, dude.
Yeah,
Okay, top
it's
vitamin.
real.
What's your
It,
top vitamin and go for it?
fucking food, bro.
Is that a vitamin? That can
I'm
yeah, it
pretty sure.
has
I'm pretty
vitamins.
sure. I'm pretty sure food is a vitamin. Yeah.
It
No,
can-
I have. I'm probably vitamin D, dude. Like one of the first things that I do when I wake up, besides shit, brush my teeth, do my
Mhm.
fucking jump squats, all that bullshit, right? Is I try to get outside
You do
and
those
walk my
all
dog.
separately, right? Not at the same time.
No, I shit while I'm jump squatting. It makes it go so fast, dude.
Dude, you got crazy accuracy then, dude. Damn, man, that's psycho.
Dude, the upper decker, bro. You kidding? Just you're the janitor,
Yeah.
aka me, the next day is just
Yeah.
like, fuck this kid. Yeah, you know. Um,
Damn.
clip that and delete it, please.
There, you got you.
But yeah, so like vitamin D is probably just getting the fuck outside, like actual absorption of.
Mhm.
I mean, bro, we are in the same lineage of plants. Like we aren't like technically photosynthesizing, but
Mhm.
technically we are in a weird way. So,
Dude, if I don't go outside for a minute, I feel what I would imagine a plant
dude,
feels like, which is getting harnessing energy from the sun. And like
it's so real.
I don't know, bro. Like it's you go outside. It's like
It's and you and I are super fucking lucky, right? We're
yeah.
both on complete opposite sides of the
Yep.
states, but we're in like the land of sun.
Yeah,
You know what I
dude.
mean?
Oh, bro, moving from Canada, where
I
like
bet.
it's darkness and just like cold and but honestly, and then it's so funny because there's like 2 months or maybe 1 to 2 months in Toronto where like it's nice, and then everything else sucks ass.
What
But
months is what is that like?
it's
April, May?
usually no, it's usually like August and sometimes blends with either July or September, depending. But August is
Only
like,
two.
yeah, August is like the for sure, like we're chilling. Because then randomly June, it's too hot. But then there's like this transition period, the fall, right? Where
Mm.
it's really perfect and you go outside and you just feel all of those like those rays of sun and like just like the nature is beautiful. The trees and stuff like that too, because like all the trees change color and shit in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like that's sick. And I've written some of my best bangers, literally just because of the environment and the vibes.
Dude.
And as I got older, I started to appreciate my environment and trying to put myself in a creative environment, just not just having the tools, but literally having like an environment around me, whether it's the outside or being near things to inspire writing, literally.
It's so real, bro. And I don't want to. I should put on my like
Hmm.
crunchiest hippie outfit to say what I'm about to say.
I'll get
But
tinfoil
like,
hat, dude. I got tinfoil.
I mean,
Yeah.
bro, as long as it's like aluminum free tinfoil, which doesn't exist, but that's the truest hippie. It's
Yeah.
brown parchment paper is what I cook in. No, there's like, do you know like sympathetic resonance?
No, but I would think.
Like if I'm guaranteed probably 90% of your audience knows the situation.
Okay.
You're tuning your guitar in a band space and all of a sudden the snare on the snare drum starts to ring.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Sympathetic resonance. It's like certain things or like someone doing a high pitch fucking note into a wine glass and it fucking explodes. It's because they're finding the sympathetic resonance that
Oh,
matches
that's what
that,
that's
right?
called.
It's
I
really
never.
fucking cool. It's
Hmm.
really, really cool. The higher frequency kind of will always dominate,
Mhm.
right? And when you're outside, the color green and plants has an actual fucking frequency and an effect on the human body that's making you kind of like cohabitate that space with plant life, with nature, which is
Whoa.
I forget what it's called, but in Japan, it's like a type of medicine. It's called like a forest walk, and it's like to cure depression and like anxiety and shit. It's because it does this really
Oh.
beautiful, magical. It's not even fucking magic, dude, but
Dude, I am gonna take
it's some
this
wizard
now.
shit.
Now, yeah, I'm gonna take this philosophy and literally go write like the craziest botanica melodic
Yeah,
metalcore song ever,
yeah.
just because of that.
I know you just moved, but now you have to just like go in a cabin and fucking fuck off from society.
Well, that's what I love about like the specific space I'm, because like before it was a little awkward because we just figured out like I was kind of in the living room and like I didn't realize the importance of separating kind of your work space from your life space in the sense like because you know I'm very fortunate I can work in you know at home and figure shit out, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize like having just even like a dedicated just like literally like a box, a room for work, so that when you exit it you just feel refreshed and almost teleported to the other world, and how it's a very inspiring thing and lets you kind of lock in a lot more than I expected, because I thought like, oh,
Yeah.
because like my environment is the open space, I'm going to be more inspired like always. And then I was like, oh no, now it's just my nice open space is now just infected and kind of corrupted with work. You know what I mean?
Corrupted. Dude,
It did it
it's
did
the
the
real
opposite.
it's the realest shit, bro. My last house that I lived in was the same situation where
Mhm.
my living room, which was this like open floor plan that basically like spread into the kitchen and like
Mhm.
behind it was my bedroom.
Yeah,
Like I would wake up and walk into my like studio, my
right,
workspace, and it
right,
was just like, fuck, I can't escape the shit I have to do now because I'm like staring at it.
right.
You know what I mean? I totally feel you. And
That's
I'm in the same situation where I'm lucky if not this is like my studio space that I'm in.
mm.
And it feels completely fucking different to have like a door. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Dude, doors go hard, man.
Doors are sick.
Walls and doors, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Electricity, dude. When
Electricity.
I learned some new things when we moved here. So when I was recording, there was a buzzing nightmare.
Dirty Dirty electricity?
Nightmare fuel for
Oof.
recording. And I would, of course, you only hear it when you put on compression and all that stuff, and like you get
Right.
going, right?
Right.
So like I would hear this buzzing, man. It was 2 days. I was like a goblin, bro, walking around the fucking house because I isolated every variable. I took everything out of the motherboard. I took everything out of the outlet. I used an extension cord to plug into a different outlet. And then I got to the point where I used my laptop, which I don't really use that much. And then I made it so the laptop was self-powered, so I already powered it up. And then I used an interface that was USB powered, so there was nothing plugged in. You know what I mean? I isolated as much as I could, and I still heard it. 2 days walking around like a goblin. Had a dude come over. He figured it out. He turned off one of the lights. Like the buzzing's gone. It was literally my outlet is connected to one of the lights in this place, and it was causing buzz. It was causing literal interference, and they fixed it. I was just like, dude,
that shit drives me nuts, dude. I had one semi-similar experience where this is when I was working off of my laptop,
right?
And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what this buzz sound was. And then sometimes it wasn't there, and then sometimes it was, and I was just like, what the fuck? Until the grounding issue got so bad that by touching my laptop, like, when you're kind of like sitting in a shitty spot and you're like working on your laptop and like the back of your arm maybe hits your strings.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why am I getting electrocuted? And then I realized that the charge port was having like a grounding issue, and that was what was causing. So every time I was plugged in, which is how you like should work.
Yeah.
AKA like using electricity made it not work. But
dude, that's deep. They can start a fire, brother. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, you know those Palisades fires, dude?
Oh shit.
Cut that.
Oh shit.
No.
Dude, electricity is fucking crazy, man. There's so much like nature. I feel like we are so fucking into the tinfoil hat right now, dude.
Dude,
we're
bring
like,
it on, bro.
I'm now inspired to write an electrical song, which makes no sense when I say those words, but like I feel like I'm now gonna be one with electricity, and it's gonna be that.
Let's collab on that, bro. Let's make some nature jams. A song about nature that is about electricity.
Tech nature. Can we throw 5 7 8s in it?
Nature. Are you kidding, dude? What is music made of but 5 7 and 8?
Dude, okay, dad. Serious fucking talk now. Okay, so I've been having homies on sometimes who because I also want to get like you are a OG 578er. By the way, people got to give you way more credit for that shit. All right.
I mean, good lord,
you are an OG 578.
Aging me here, dude.
Dude, hey, I live by 578. Okay. Now I've been asking homies.
Wait, 4 now and again.
Now, okay, so there was the era of the 4 that came in, and that was particularly, I think you guys way back in the day with His Blood Runs Black kind of popularized that 4 being thrown in there because you got that dark harmonic minor, then that really like amped it up, right? It spiced it, right? And then that's where I feel like the 4 turned all like the melodic death metal and then also the melodic metalcore into what I don't know what you guys would call that era because it was like. It was kind of deathcore, but it was like melodic deathcore, where it was you guys, All Shall Perish, like Black Dahlia, because again, it was technically death metal, but it was
they were mellow death for sure.
Yeah, but then there was still like breakdowns, so like it was this weird,
dude. Yeah, I have this discussion all the fucking time with like homies and students and shit.
Mm.
The word metalcore is a constant moving target.
Oh yeah,
and at the time. ABRB, As Blood Runs Black, was metalcore.
Right.
And then Asking Alexandria came out, and they were like, no, that's metalcore.
Yep.
You guys are like deathcore or something. And we're like,
what?
I mean, I guess, because like we're doing like blast beats into like a 2-step.
Yeah.
So that's like the epitome of death and core, right?
Yep.
So I guess that makes sense. And then like Whitechapel came out, and they were like, that's deathcore. You guys just suck now.
You guys are just in the null, like you
genreless.
Yeah. No fucking genre. It's just no.
And it was an interesting thing for a while. It was like Melodeath. Like we were really inspired by like At the Gates and those kind of bands. And Black Dahlia was fucking huge on all of us. And it just kind of became this thing where like now, and deathcore continues to just like be pushed into this boundary of where like now Lorna Shore is, I guess, deathcore.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, they're like that new, like that's why it's blackened, symphonic. I don't know. It's just it's modern deathcore. Like that's like the weird. It's
So what are we classic? That hurts.
Dude. So that's why I was like, because
Oh God.
there was never
Oh,
really,
fuck.
there was melodic metalcore, right? Obviously Kill
Yeah.
Switch and Bullet and
Yeah, yeah,
Trivium.
yeah.
There was never really melodic deathcore, right? Actually, Lorna, funny enough, is probably the closest nowadays because it's, you know,
I'd agree,
it's
yeah.
symphony and that. But I think what you guys started back then, because you were like in the middle of being in the middle of all those genres, was technically melodic deathcore. And I think, like I said, you guys all shall perish, and a few other bands, because you had 578 riffs.
Through the Eyes of the Dead was
Yeah.
another one.
Because you had 578 riffs and were very melodic,
Oh, hell
but
yeah.
you had breakdowns, and the vocals were almost primarily that like deathcore, death metal type vocal, right?
Yeah, with the occasional like tough guy yell,
Exactly.
you know,
Right?
which kept it hardcore.
So I just assimilate that era, which not many bands were in, and that's why I was like, it's a really cool era that like people don't necessarily talk about, because they're just like, oh, like you just said, like you guys were okay, you're metalcore, or when you're deathcore, you're like, but like there was that in between where like you guys don't sound like Suicide Silence and Whitechapel, and you guys didn't sound like Killswitch. You know what I mean? Like, dude,
yeah, it was between. We were for sure betweeners. And it was an interesting time, man. Like we also did like that record Instinct and Ground Zero, and we tried to like push the boundaries while simultaneously pulling in some of our like deeper back in the day influences. So like Ground Zero got a lot more Killswitch influence because the vocalist we got at that time had fucking pipes, dude. Dude could fucking sing. We were like, all right, let's do this, dude. Like no one's really doing the singing thing in this scene right now. And then everyone was like, so you guys were metalcore, then deathcore, then sucked. Now you guys really suck.
Oh my god.
We were like, fuck. Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude,
The genre really sucked.
Do many people recognize you from As Blood Runs Back nowadays? Because obviously, I mean, Iceland Kills has become so massive that it kind of like, I guess, not overshadows, but it's like, I'm assuming that might be the thing that newer, younger people probably recognize you from. But you get many like, dude, I fucking love As Blood Runs Black. And then you're like, oh, that's cool.
It's a mixed bag. Certainly that's the response I have, like, oh shit, okay, so you've been into metal for a long time and you're like old. Okay. It's a mixed bag though, dude. Like I was telling you about this before we started the pod. Let's call it the stream. I'm so used to streaming with you, dude.
Dude, yeah.
So weird. But I was just on a pod like last week, and I mentioned that casually, and the guy like he was like, "What? Hold the fuck up, mate! You were in ABRB," and I was like, "Oh yeah, my bad, dude." And he like lost his because I guess it's not really common knowledge, and it's not really something that I'm like. I don't put like Dan X ABRB like
right. You don't put the band name in your bio,
Yeah, and speaking of that, there's some interesting movement going on behind the scenes, so we may be doing some shit, which is kind of cool. Now is the era of the good old nostalgia core.
Dude, nostalgia core is mass.
I have a genre again.
Dude, okay, Dan. And again, I might be biased, and I'll stand by this. Modern metal's cool. There's a lot of, nowadays there's no genres. And that's I like that. That's cool. Because obviously back in the days it was much more like you're this or this or this. And then because you weren't this, everyone fucking hated you or everyone loved you. And
right.
That mentality I didn't like. However, 2000s metalcore, particularly, best music. There is like some of the best hits, the best records front to back, the best combo in my opinion of all the things I love about music. Massive chorus, so you got your replayability. Riffs. Oh my god, I love riffs. And that was one of the pinnacles, I would say, of riffs. Solos were still cool, right? But not
those days
forced. And that's what was really special, because obviously there was, the like classic metal, it was like every song, okay, what's the fucking solo, right? In that era, there really was like, oh, this is a solo. Like the guitarist cared enough to write a good solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
It wasn't just, oh, we're in the studio, do the thing. The equivalent of nowadays vocalists doing the animal noise back in the day, right? It was do the thing, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Guitarists had to deal with that, right? And the drumming was energetic, still had groove, and it was just some of the best written songs, in my opinion.
Like the guitar, I feel like in modern metal is secondary, if not tertiary. Like one of the things that I've noticed is it's vocals first, then drums, and then maybe guitar. But it might be like synth layers and orchestra over guitars even.
Yeah, because the synth layer could, and to also clarify, because obviously there's a lot of like death metal and stuff going on, which is
Yes.
obviously riff first. That's obviously, you know,
We're
like,
talking about like pop
yeah,
metal.
pop, yeah, yeah. That's pop modern, like the big modern metal sphere where it's very there's production. Obviously, the point of the music it is very well produced
For sure,
right?
and we both can concur in it slaps. It still is great, right? But we are adults in children's brains, and we miss what the fuck we miss. And like if I can be so fucking honest, man, as you were saying that, I realized the DAW became the primary instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, Guitar Pro was kind of the primary instrument.
Dude.
And before that, it was like voice notes into like a fucking recorder, or just like God forbid you have to remember a riff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like that's what it was, dude. That's what, and there was definitely no pre-bend none of that existed.
Well,
it
dude,
was just
even the era I grew up in the sense of that era, but in terms of when I started actually to be able to record, like, you know, very sketchually in like the 10s where like.
Did you say sexually?
Sketchually. Like, that's not really a word, but like in a.
I like it.
Yeah. Where
it is
like,
now.
Where it was like, I would use like, you know, Audacity and shit like that. You know, like you just figure it out. There's no like tutorials. There's no how do you mix.
Oh my God.
Dude, I learned how to drum program. You know how I learned this? I laugh when I think about it. By clicking the mouse at the speed of the tempo, like, and that's how I didn't know how to drum program, right? So like, it was such an era of figuring stuff out where even during that, even though it was sit there and record a computer and you don't necessarily need everyone around you, there was still no context of, oh, well, there's gonna be 50 synth layers and all this, so you can figure it out. So you still had to start the song with a sick fucking riff, or again a sick chord progression, because it was still so hard to contextualize what it could be, because you know not everyone yet has all these tools to be an instant sick mixer or producer at home to know that like oh, I'm just gonna do like a few notes and then add these synths and now it just sounds massive and fucking huge, you know what I mean? And the mix is already like a template, so it sounds good. Right.
I'm tripping out on this discussion, dude. I'm wondering, I almost like to do like an analysis to see if there was a point where, because if you strip everything down to like just guitars and like vocals, can the song hold up?
That's where I think a lot of the modern music, even amazing bangers, probably can't. I would do that
because it's just well-written songs.
Yeah. If you have a banger's a banger. I mean, that's why I think there's this convoluted area where people assume either one extreme or the other, like, oh, you need a lot of notes for it to be sick. No. A sick riff can still be one of the most simple riffs. It's just then, as you mentioned, the point of it is that it being stripped down, it should still be a simple banger riff without it fully relying. Because as soon as I think it starts to rely on stuff, which is fine, it's modern day music and production is sick and a production-based song is sick, it's just, well, then your guitar's a production element more than it is, you know, a classic guitar used for a riff.
Yeah. That's interesting, dude. And I maybe more so what I'm saying is because you're right. Like a good song is a good song is a good song, and then we have like you said, these 70 layers of synth that just like it's taking something and elevating it. But I think what I'm trying to say is if you remove all of those elements and those like syncopated like underlick fucking melodies going on with everything, does it still sound like the song? I think that's more what I'm saying. Like, do you lose the essence of, obviously great progression, great melody, great lyrics, it's memorable, I know it's that song, but like, will it sound, I'm gonna have to just explore this myself, because it just feels like you're right. We used to like just sit down with a guitar, write a riff, and I remember going to my buddy's house with just like, hey, I wrote this song, and I would just play like a whole song with just riffs and parts and be like, this is it. And they're like, sick. Let me figure out the drums and do vocals on it.
Sick, bro.
Yeah, dude, fucking tight. And it was 5/7/8. Maybe a little 5/8/7. Get a little weird, right?
As long as you got the third harms, bro, we're chilling.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah,
dude. Okay, that's why. So that part, back to this, because I've had some always on of that era, and I always want to ask. I would love to do it. I want to do a documentary on literally 578 one day. And I want to ask, when's the first time you heard an equivalent 578 riff, not requiring it to literally use the frets 578, however, to follow that melodic pacing interval kind of pattern, which is very iconic of down, 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 which obviously all of the melodic metalcore bands popularized by taking from the melodic death metal bands, and then, you know, even further back than that. But when's the first time you yourself heard it, and when it changed your life for you?
I feel like this is such a cop-out, but I think it's real. I think it was Unholy Confessions.
Oh, dude, that's such a
right. It's so, and it kind of birthed like the whole entire thing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously that's not true. Like Earth Crisis, and like there was metalcore bands that was doing shit in that same vein earlier. Right. But that hit me really fucking hard. And then I think soon after that, it was like anything off Ascendancy, probably.
Gotcha. Yep. Ascendancy.
Trivium had a lot of sick 578 shit. And then Lamb of God. Like I slowly got like more and more into like what you would probably call like true metal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Shit,
like,
brother.
The real, pure American heavy metal.
Hell yeah.
But then it got, you know, like Laid to Rest is like Phrygian. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it started introducing other. You could do the little 568.
Dude, that's the first time I heard 568 / 01213. That was the first. It literally was Lamb of God, and they were so ahead.
So good.
Because then during the 2010s, after Crabcore. Jesus Christ, Crabcore was special. After Crabcore, then it became, that was the new 578. It was the 01213. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Because like,
yeah.
This is
that's
like,
what everyone's doing now.
Yeah, dude. It's
that Phrygian dominant thing that like Architects got huge on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that like open 12 little bendy boy thing.
The octave skip in Doomsday basically.
Era does it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was an interesting time, dude. Because I had because that was the first time I also heard it, and so it was so funny. I had Zakia on the show because I wanted to talk about that era. I was like, dude, like now I go nowadays. You know, I don't go very often, but you go to a Guitar Center, and you know, back in my time, like people were playing Still Stairway to Heaven and fucking, you know, like that shit. Now, and I'm so happy, I'm proud of them. You hear Unholy Confessions, you hear like Parkway. You hear Kill Switch, and I'm like,
yeah,
holy shit, these kids, this is the Guitar Center songs now. Like, you kids are growing up with this like 20 years like later. Like, that's so cool.
This goes back to the thing I said before. Is that making it classic metal?
It's
modern metal.
Oh no, oh god, no! Now we going crazy with these.
Because it's like, because you're right. Like we were playing, I had this thought recently. Like. My fucking dad showing me Led Zeppelin when I was like a kid is the same distance now as someone showing a kid Nirvana. Like when I was hearing Led Zeppelin in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
20 years back was Led Zeppelin.
Whoa.
And now, is your head fucked or what? And now we're in the 2020s and I go, 20 years back was Avenged Sevenfold. We're like, what the fuck? It's the same distance. So
oh shit, dude! We old fuck, bro. Like, goddamn, dude.
Or do two musicians not know how to do math and we're totally off?
That too, probably. Yeah. But like that's like those bangers stood the test of time. And like talking with Zach, because I was like, it obviously, you know, in that era, like the term metalcore wasn't a thing and also it was the metallic hardcore because it was the Earth Crisis, the Norma Jean, the Converge, right? Which is to fully be proper with the core kids out there. Obviously, a different subset of metalcore than the melodic metalcore movement because that 578 movement was using kind of the melodic death metal at the gates styling with the hardcore breakdown stuff like that. But I asked him, he was like, dude, yeah, it was just like a punk. I was messing around with this like punk thing, and like Matt showed me at the gates, and like that was birth. I'm like, that's crazy to make one of like the most iconic 578 riffs that kids are doing in Guitar Center nowadays. That it was just like fucking around and just like, oh, this is cool, and I like at the gates and punk. Like, what the fuck, dude?
So sick, dude. Yeah, Unholy Confessions is the new Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah,
that is.
I'll take it, dude. I'll stand by.
I'm happy about it.
I'll stand by it, dude. That's my era. That's my era of shit. Like Obviously, Waking the Fallen was a big thing, and that was probably one of the earlier transitional albums of that time. I think Darkest Hour dropped around there.
What was that fucking record?
I know what you're
talking about.
It wasn't Undying Ruin. Yeah. It was one before that. It was the one before that. The people, the comments will let us know.
Thank you, future people.
Thank you, everyone who was over 50. That is the only other people other than us that care about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Geriatrics only, please.
Yes.
That's a good point. Darkest Hour. I think that's another band that gets like overlooked pretty heavily.
Yep.
But it's because there was like I don't know, man. Like Avenged in that era of shit, and like Trivium 2 is kind of in that same realm where they just took a fucking crown. I don't know what they did. Like I always like to look at bands like history and see if I could like reverse blueprint their trajectory and figure out what happened, what went wrong, what went right.
Yeah.
Avenged did everything correct. Like I remember at the time, City of Evil, people were like, what the fuck, dude? I remember the Matt can't scream anymore because he did something. And I was like, not true, apparently.
Yeah. They just.
Do you remember that rumor where everyone was like, he blew out his voice, that's why they sound like this now?
He was just like, no, I wanted to sing, guys. Like,
and I look back at that shit as still one of like the greatest transitionary records I think a band has like made.
Yep. And
it opened up so much for them, dude.
I mean, I would say this, as much as I love Waking the Fallen and that era. Yeah, that band, if they didn't make that transition and just were like, we are Waking the Fallen, we were metal, they probably wouldn't have been as big. And I would be like, that's fair. As much as I love that era, I'd agree. I'd be like, they probably wouldn't have broken out as much and been appreciated as much for that album if that actually became their sound for like the next 4 records. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they would have been respected with it, which sucks.
I think you're spot on. And even as we're having this conversation, I'm like running some other bands in my head. I'm like, holy shit, is that the like secret sauce of a band that just like bursts through the fucking ceiling? Like Bring Me did it.
I was about to say, like, that's still such a crazy, like, Bring Me's first record, besides the EP. Well, their EP.
Sempiternal, was that where they made the shift?
Yeah. Kinda. Because they did Count Your Blessings, right? And that's a deathcore record.
Is that the one, the girl holding her like heart?
No, that was after. That was Suicide Season. My fucking album names, dude. I'm so bad with albums. I think that was Suicide Season. And then after that was There Is a Hell, right? I think Suicide Season is when you started to hear, okay, now they're not as deathcore, they're more metalcore, like, because the screaming isn't just, isn't just fucking gutturals or like shrieky highs and shit like that. He's like doing a more of a hardcore yelly pitch thing, right? And the riffs too. The riffs were 0, 12, 13 instead of dun 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 instead of the 4 7 5 8. Those oh my god, what are those runs called? Those like fucking diminished runs.
Diminished?
Yeah. The diminished runs. So I was like, that was their transitional period where they consciously did that. And I would say the same to that. If they were the deathcore band, I don't think they ever would have been as big. Unfortunately,
no.
Even though everyone looks back at that record and they're like, "Oh, this is the goated, dude. I miss when Bring Me sounded like this," and I'm just like, "Okay, sure," like.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like reverse engineer this a little bit more too, because it's also like, I mean, Avenged on Waking the Fallen had like huge fucking choruses. Like I could sing like Chapter 4 or fucking Radiant Eclipse. Like any one of those songs could come to my mind right now. But they leaned into it harder. And then you have like Atreyu, I think is like a fucking amazing like legacy band, right?
Dude, The Curse is
one of the best.
It's one of the best records.
One of the best. The first song that I ever played live was Deanne the Arsonist.
Oh shit, dude, that's cool.
Fucking so sick, right? Atreyu's another like semi slept on legacy act, even though they're super relevant, they're super fucking huge, but people don't know that they like birthed the sound in the same era. But is it because this is my hypothesis here.
Go for it.
If you stay with the sound versus transition, is that like the doom of growth? Or are you just spoon feeding your audience?
I think it still all comes down to, on like the most microscopic level and simplicity of the transition, you still have to make better bangers. Because what I think most bands screw up at, because they get their core fan base, no pun intended, right, from that album, and then everyone's like, oh, that's your sound because you aced it, and then they transition the sound, but then they do it fucking bad. And then that's where it's like, it's so tricky because not only are you pissing off or you know, kind of leaving on edge like the fans that you got from that first record that like they like that sound, then you're just like, well, like no one's gonna listen to the new stuff because it's just not good. And then it's that, I think that's like the trap majority of bands that have done that have fallen into, versus a band like you said, Avenged, or Bring Me. I think they transitioned, and the next album arguably was a better, more well-written album. You know what I mean? Like it is, and they took those songwriting things and they just became better songwriters, even though they were moving away from that core audience. So it was still bangers. You know what I mean? Like they made better bangers in the capacity.
Yeah, like growth for the sake of like authentic change versus growth for the sake of like profit margins.
Yeah, that, and
it's palpable.
It's palpable, and I think that's where you know, a lot of those legacy bands where they've had that like first hit record and then they make the next one and everyone's like, oh no. You know, it's like I think majority of it is they made a bad record. It genuinely ties to that, it more than it being like, sure, people are going to be loud because the style changed, but I really think it's just like, if you made a good record after that, like you're going to get all new fans again anyways, and then the old fans, you know, you'll still keep a good handful of them regardless, but you're going to evolve with everything together. And that's why I think those bands are successful, because they just made good records continuously instead of it. I mean, Architects was mathcore. That's crazy to think about way back in the day. They were fucking mathcore. You know what I mean?
Me, that's like the epitome of like what metalcore is today.
Yes,
in my mind. Do you agree with that,
dude? We like, yeah, we went back in the wheel where now everything's like chaotic again. I think that's cool, but now there's so many subsets. You know what I mean? Like metalcore. I think metalcore is the dumbest term because it means nothing now, because there's too much types of it. You know what I mean? Like that term of like, is, you know, I'll see it on like r/metalcore sometimes. Like, is this band metalcore? I'm just like, what? Fuck, man. Like, what do you, like, this is such a weird, I just call everything modern metal now because of literally that. It's too like convoluted, because how can you say there's this genre where there's bands that sound like Converge, but also Killswitch Engage, but also Attack, but also, you know what I mean, Architects, but also now Bad Omens and Bring Me and Spearbox. Like this,
Bad Omens is another good example of the shift,
right? Yeah.
But
you can't, come on, like this is not a genre now. Like it doesn't make any sense. Which
you're right.
That's why there's that annoying subclassification and people get really bitchy on it, instead of just be like, I like classifying it by era at this point, like 90s, 2000s, 2010s. That makes sense. I think it's just easy. That makes a lot of sense, because it was the sound for that time anyways.
It's almost kind of fucking funny, right? Like, have you ever been in like an Uber or something like that, and the guy's like, oh, so what kind of music are you into? And they're older, and you're like, oh, I like metal. They're like, oh, like Ozzy and Metallica?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I tell them to put on Crazy Train right away. Let's fucking go.
For sure. Yeah. That's the most, but it's like, is metalcore that now? Like in the next couple of years when like we're old and driving Ubers, we're going to be like, oh, so you like metalcore?
Yeah.
Like Architects and Bad Omens?
Yeah.
They're like, no, you fuck unk.
No, no, dude, I mean the real shit, like fucking Converge, brother, Earth Crisis, like you fucking, But like, I think it's already is that, which is kind of funny. Right. And that's where, again, it's just, I'm like, music is just, it's so genrefied, but at the same time it's not. It's just like, oh yeah, I think bands are becoming more like, you like this band, that's cool. I embrace that, and instead,
me too,
when I want to talk about a genre or an era, I talk about it as an era, you know, as a time, as a thing that happened, instead of a continuous genre of like music. Because even nowadays you have, like you said, the nostalgia core. And like you have the bands like the Dying Wishes, or like Boundaries is so fucking sick, and like these bands that are reviving that sound. Yeah. Or there was that new Rise. I forgot the name. I Promised the World something. It's very like, it sounds like Alexis on Fire almost, but like nowadays.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, how, you know, okay, that's metalcore, but then also like against Spearbox, Bad Omens, like it just makes no, like these. If you went to someone and they're like, I like this band, give me more of this, you would not directly give them the other band, because it's just like, it's a shift. Not that those, you couldn't find similarities. I mean, there's DNA similarities, right? Sure. But like, it's just like you're going from one to the other. Like that's a trippy one, especially nowadays, because you just want to relate to people in terms of like, oh, you like this, here's something like this. You know what I mean? And it's much harder to do that by actually saying, I think, a genre than it is. Same thing, even I would say with like death metal or like tech death, like, you know, Archspire is fucking crazy, or like in Fury, and, you know, tying that and being like, you know, oh, well, what about like classic death, you know, you like Cannibal Corpse too, and then you throw on one or the other. Like, it's just like, it's a tricky transition. There's a lot of evolution that has happened. That you know,
There's like a path that someone goes left and someone goes right, and then that creates 1,000 other little mini branches.
Exactly.
Dude, your 578 fucking documentary is gonna take way more than a day, bro.
Dude, it's gonna take.
This is like a lifelong project.
Dude, I want to talk about, because it is my favorite era of music. I think it will always be, no matter. Like, I'm pretty certain, like, as I get older, you know, you think you're gonna be like, oh, like maybe, you know, like, and music's gotten really cool and different, but I'm like, nah, that's, to me, that was peak. And like, I'm happy with, like, when I die, like, I'm like, yeah, that's still on my deathbed, like, that shit was the best. You know what I mean? And I'm like cool with that, right? In
like, what's your funeral song? It's like fucking
dude,
Dan the Arsonist, dude.
Dude, I would go. I mean, Kill Switch, but then I would feel like Kill Switch is would be sick. And a Heartache. I would do End of Heartache, Rose of Sharon, or and this is maybe the Canadian in me, I would actually probably go Alexis on Fire to a capacity. Ooh. I would do like Accidents. Hopefully, you know, no accidents happen.
It's like, a really good one for a funeral.
Yeah.
It's a song called Accidents.
Accidents. I'd probably go something up with Alexis on Fire. That album particularly, like Watch Out, self-titled, and like Crisis, super special. But even that, like, is that melodic metalcore? Kind of. It's post-hardcore, because it sounds somewhat more closer to Underoath than it sounds to, like, again, Kill Switch, but like there's overlapping elements. That's why, like, genres are fucking stupid as like as a whole concept, instead of just like, I like this and this is kind of close to this, so cool, let's categorize.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
it's really, really interesting. I talk about this with my students sometimes, where it's like labeling something as creating a container, right, for it to grow inside of, and then like think of a petri dish. And then you put like a substrate in there, some material that something can grow inside of, and then what do you call that thing? A fucking culture.
Yep,
literally, like exactly. in a container you grow a culture. Like
mm-hmm.
that's what like genres do and help with. But it also, I think, like the amount of people who have had their fucking like, or bands I should say, have had their legs cut off by just mislabeling, or people being too strict or hard on what, like, that's not fucking metalcore anymore, and then a band gets like left behind. It's really, really interesting how just by simply labeling something, you kind of close it off from possibility. Like, even if you say something's fucking good or bad, as simple as a label like that, you're changing the possibility of what it is, right? Like,
well, you're categorizing it, and then people will judge you based on not liking a category instead of liking the band. And that's dude. That's what can happen. Too big. That's dude. We get deep here even without the tinfoil hats, and that can. That could be trippy thing. And that's why I take it back to you, you know, as Motorman's back all the way back then. Like, it was cool where the space you guys existed in, because that space wasn't big enough to be called like a genre. Like I said, like that particular sound of what you guys were combining is like, it's kind of cool. And it's, you know, it sucks that instead of it be like, oh, this is just a metal band, people were just like, no, you know, like instead, but like, dude, it's so cool, because I think that particular moment, you know, that era of music is really fucking is cool, and I wish more people, like I said, like kind of talked about it. We'll
see, man. All these bands, like All Shall Perish is back, for instance.
Dude. You guys gotta take like you guys gotta just like everyone come back. Let's just do like one tour of just this sound. Everyone else can fuck off because no one else, like, you know, this is our thing. No,
fuck, dude. Summer Slaughter 2009, just like reunion.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes, dude. There's gonna be the Crabcore reunion one day. It's gonna.
Oh God. Yeah, that's next. That's next in line. You're right.
I mean, 20 years, Dan. It's always 20 fucking years, man. So like, it's gonna happen. Everyone's, you know, synths are, you know, that's so funny, because the 2010s to me obviously had made some cool records. The Rise Core era, Sumerian Core working in parallel was cool. They had some. It didn't sound like Crabcore, but like they had some Crabcore bands and all that shit. But like, electronics nowadays obviously are more prevalent than ever, and 2010s felt like your mom forcing you to use electronics. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like it was so forced, and like no one figured it out really. There was a couple bands that did it, but then because it was so gimmicky and like kind of meme, it wasn't taken seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. If I saw a band on stage with a keyboard, I would immediately like mutter something under my breath and like go outside to like do something else and then come back when the bands were on.
Yeah, because it was so there were so many bands using it as like this trendy crutch instead of like, oh, how do we actually like fucking like do synths and like guitar and like then obviously it was figured out many years later as now literally every guitar has a synth layer. So I'm curious to see if that comes back, if it's gonna like utilize all of the knowledge of electronics and maybe create some of the craziest music ever, or if it's just gonna be like taken too cringy and meme and all that and too MySpace to like not to be actually taken seriously. You know what I mean?
MySpace core.
Core, dude.
Fuck. You know, is a band that we've neglected to mention, and I think they were the band that did it right consistently and hopefully are like the forefront of this. BT Bam.
BT Bam, dude. BT Bam is sick. And they're such good dudes. They're
such good. Oh yeah, you had fucking
Blake, dude.
Blake on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember watching that being like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever.
Dude, Blake is so cool.
And then Austin's just on the side doing Breeze. Yeah.
Dude, we did not like that was one of those where I literally told those two guys, I was like, so like we have this idea. Funny enough, it was Sweetwater's idea. Literally. They were like, what if you guys had like a side band of like someone doing like blast beats and breeze? I was like, you guys are so fucking cool that you suggested this shit. I was like, yes. And they didn't practice. There was nothing to practice. I literally just told them, I was like, let's make sure stuff works. And I mean, you guys just blast beats and breeze. Like when like it's just you're like the hype men. And they pulled it off. And
so fucking funny, dude.
It was fun, dude. It was funny.
That shit had me in stitches. Anytime that they were playing, I was like, this is like fucking Conan O'Brien with like a fucking. It was so good, dude.
Dude, I was laughing. Dude, I had to still like do things. I'm just like laughing because like this is also the first time I am like hearing it, and I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. Like this is ridiculous. But dude, BT Bam, like there's bands like that where it's like, oh shit, like they've had so much influence on so many things. And the thing is, I think they get that cred, but it's always in the underground. They do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like when it requires like a PhD to like fully understand.
Yes.
You kind of alienate a good amount of people, but that's also the shit where it's like if you love prog metal, you have fucking posters in your bedroom, you fucking have a pocket protector. You know what I mean? Like you are my kind of nerd. But I agree with you, dude. I think they've kind of always gotten the credit they deserve, but at the same time, that specific subgenre, which is like the theme of our whole fucking talk right now, is just subgenreification or subsets. It had its moment. Like I remember when Colors came out, dude, I was like blown the fuck away. I was blown away by that shit. And I remember like looking for all these other bands in that world, and nobody really spoke to me like BT Bam did. And then they continued doing that. What was the one that was also The Great Misdirect?
I think so.
I think, unless the title I just invented was a great.
That's misdirect. A great title. If that should be a title, I think that's.
I'm pretty sure it was. That was like the follow up or two follow ups later. Like I stuck with them for a while, and then I got like into other shit. I think I was in Texas doing some other shit at this time, but like that band, I think will be revered as like the goated king crowned fucks of the future resurgence of the shit.
Yep, I think so.
The future king crown fucks. That's the official title.
I want to see some bands just like take it. You know, like bands that have been going long. Do you ever listen to the Browning? Speaking of 2010, dude.
Speaking of the Browning, there was a moment in time where their vocalist was he was the vocalist of ABRB for a really brief amount of time.
Really? Dude, that's crazy side lore.
Right before I joined, he left. It was him and Nita Strauss were in the band together.
Right, Nita was in it for like a sec, dude. What
and then he left, and then I was in it with Nita for a little bit, and then Nita left, and then we got Greg. But there was a moment where like, what's his name? Max?
Johnny
McBee.
Yeah.
He was the vocalist of ABRB for like one tour, and there was I almost toured with him, but he left before that happened. Shit. But yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
I know the Browning.
Dude, the thing with Johnny is and like the Brownie is they were doing this tying to what we were saying is like they were probably the ones actually doing electronic horror seriously and I don't know how he figured it out. He was super young, and you listen to still that first record like Burn This World, and like it's one of my top gym records always. Like if you need like to get it fucking going, brother, you need the extra rep. that record still holds up, which is kind of insane because it's like you could tell it's like it's a young dude figuring it out and kind of producing and like getting this shit done, and they figured out the electronics and metal so well. But I think because everyone else was fucking around and doing more meme or more like the MySpace stuff and blowing up with it, right?
Sure.
They never got that credit back in the day. But now what I'm seeing, because they didn't stop the sound, is they're getting literally the second wind hype, which I'm excited for them because now electronics and metal and heavy is cool. And they just didn't stop doing it. So like,
right.
They now finally get that benefit because they were always doing it more seriously instead of it being more like, here's like the high, auto-tune fucking chorus thing. Like they were just, here's deathcore vocals, electronics, and
I'm running the timelines in parallel. That was,
I think it was 2011
dubstep era.
Yes,
that was like
yes.
Skrillex was blowing up, and they were like, "How about a fucking breakdown over that?"
Yes,
and I remember thinking it was just like putting mustard on a fucking toothbrush. It was like, this doesn't make sense.
Yep.
I like mustard and I brush my teeth, so maybe I should try that.
Dude, that was a thing. And then I think over the time, like, it's not like they super blew up yet, but like they're going, and it's cool to see them like gain that popularity. It's like that sound of electronics, and like I think Johnny he described it as like the not D&B, but like oh my god, that type of music which is like a very not D&B though, but like a very European type of electronic music that's very fast paced. Like you play like Dance Dance Revolution, that
House?
type of.
Is that what it's called?
No, Dance Dance Revolution, that type of shit. Oh fuck.
Okay.
Whatever that genre is. Yes, now my brain is
like that kind of shit.
Hard style.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
He was doing hard style and just like deathcore, and I was like, that makes sense. Like I understand now, like what happened there, and it's again that synths guitars use super well, and I think we're gonna see that resurgence in terms of that era specifically come back. And like I said, I just hope it's good. I fuck man, like I just hope it's good.
I mean we'll see. Like all these kids coming up right now, like the TikTokification of everything has been kind of fucking wild too. But like it comes back to this idea, and every band who can like bring something like an element from something super disparate and disconnected from what they're doing and bringing it into what they're doing, kind of like this 1 + 1 = 3 sort of scenario.
Exactly.
Like the Browning did that fantastically. I mean, Bring Me was like, let's do metalcore, deathcore with like Linkin Park.
Yeah.
It's like they're combining things that you otherwise wouldn't think of or see or hear, and then all of a sudden it creates this. I like this. Together, I like it even more. Now it's my identity.
Dude, I mean the new metalcore era, which I think we're actually, it's funny enough, already past it, but like it's still
like
kind of
NU metalcore.
Yeah, like NU metalcore, where I'm kind of surprised it took 20 years because like how big Linkin Park, Korn, Limp Bizkit, those bands were for their time. Where I was kind of like, even myself, I was like, wow, it's kind of taken a while for a band to just try to do hybrid theory again. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like weird. But then I did not expect every band to just do hybrid theory again.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit! It's like everything sounds like it now. But like for so many years, you'd expect like, I mean, this is like the biggest modern heavy. I'm gonna say those words, modern heavier band.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, wow, it took that long for everyone to copy like Linkin Park again. Like, fuck. And I'm sure there's bands in random 2009 and stuff that tried it, and maybe it didn't go like super big, right? But it's like it kind of took a while, and then every band sounded like that. And I was like, whoa, that was fast, dude.
I wonder if it has to do with like, because Linkin Park was never not relevant.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I wonder if it has to do with like a little bit of like they're still actively killing it, and then we were gutted as fuck by Chester, and then it was like this like respect thing for a little bit when we lost Chester, potentially.
That makes a lot of sense actually.
But like them still being relevant, like dude, fucking love Korn. Limp Bizkit was my favorite band in the world. The first like Halloween costume I chose for myself was Fred Durst as like age 11, right? Fucking backwards red hat, bro. It's all you needed, and people knew I was Fred Durst.
Yeah, that's literally all you need. Chocolate flavored starfish, hot dog.
Dude, it took me till my adulthood to know that was a butthole joke. Like, hilarious.
Now you
but
know.
Like I wonder if the fact that they weren't really like actively active for a long time
Mhm.
allowed that to come back a little bit sooner. Because I remember like
Probably.
that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I wonder if the relevance thing has something to do with it. Like you don't want to
Mhm.
jack the steez of someone who's like
Yeah.
actually out there fucking killing it
Do you,
right now,
do you know,
potentially.
and I know you love this band too, because I hear it in your playing, and I love it because I don't hear anyone kind of have that influence. That is a band that hasn't really like taken from Avenged, which is it's considering also how big Avenged is, and to every young guitarist that was like, I want to be Zach, I want to be Sinister Gates. It's kind of
Yep.
crazy that there isn't a big modern band where you hear like that kooky circusy like Avenged stuff.
Yeah.
You're one of the only guitar players, and I love it because I fucking love Avenged, where I've heard
That
that
means a lot, dude.
influence in your stylistic of playing. Like there's a flavor of it. I'm like, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh damn. It's like that specific chromaticism
Yeah, that
darkness.
Django gypsy jazz.
Yes,
Fuck
dude.
yeah, dude.
It's where it's like so satisfying because no one. That's one of the bands, just like System of a Down too, where like like massive band, and
The
yet
best.
you don't hear any bands be like, oh yeah, that's just like this and this. Like it's funny where there's like Avenged, System of a Down. There's a few others probably too where it's like that just there's no copy pastas, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of because Deftones, oh my god, Linkin Park, Slipknot, like those got copy pasted quite a bit,
I was about to say that like that baddiecore Deftones like
Yes.
sex metal thing is like huge right now. And I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this, but it's
Hmm.
like the grilled cheese hasn't been reinvented.
Yeah,
You don't
don't
touch that.
you don't. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
You know
fair.
what I mean? Like I wonder if it's a little bit of that where it's like system is like you don't fucking do that.
Yeah. I
Right?
think it's
It's
also
sacrilege.
because it's so out there, and all like you can tell those bands particularly had so many influences that in order to recreate it, it's hard to just take it as a singular influence entity. You have
Yeah.
to basically take most of their influences, but then because you're taking so many of their influences to embed that sound, you now can only sound like that band. It's much harder, to take that and like translate it to now also a new medium. And because like even I remember doing the How to Metal series, and it's like you do that shit for like System, and even I'm sitting there, I'm like, there is so much what the fuck happening
Yep.
that
Yep.
like I don't even it's very hard for me to describe this to a human, all these influences, and Avenged being one of those as well, because there's just so many particular nuances and stylistic influences where it's like unless you recreate just Avenged, it's really
Yeah.
hard to take that as a singular influence, I think.
It's a very good point, dude. Like
Mm.
I feel like I may have even mentioned this on a previous podcast we did, but like obsessing on the influences of your influences
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
creates an opportunity for you to do the 1 + 1 = 3 thing.
Yeah, dude.
Like I was like, okay, sick. Like Sinister Gates loves like gypsy jazz. Like I wonder what
Right.
the fuck that is. And I went down this whole path of exploring that
Yeah.
and then discovering the way that like Marty Friedman likes to voice like bends and vibratos and infuse chromaticism. And the way he talks about it, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just choosing a weird note. And then I love
Right.
it, right? There's like this childlike innocence to it. But I think the influence of your influence tends to allow like yourself to kind of bleed into it.
Yep, 100%.
But as we're talking about the system thing, do you ever listen to the Tetragrammaton podcast with Rick Rubin?
I've listened to a few of Rick's podcasts, but not many.
Okay. I
Mhm.
fucking love that podcast. But he did a two-parter with Darren from
Oh,
System
sick.
where he went through the whole entire history of metal.
Hmm.
And he was just like explaining how this expanded into this, expanded into this, and it was all the shit that he loved,
Right,
and
right.
explaining it from the standpoint of how he loved it and how that turned into what System was.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a potentially really cool way to truly fucking understand
Hmm.
how you get like a polka beat followed by like
Right.
a punk blast beat with him screaming like a banshee over the top of it. You know what
It's
I mean? And then an
yeah.
accordion, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, I love those bands where it's just so obscure. I remember talking with I talked with Mark from Periphery one time, and I was like, like, because like particularly like early Periphery had like this very melodic sensibility to it, like this very
talking like
like
P2
P2
era.
P1 and Haunted
Yeah.
Shores, right?
Yep.
And
Yep. Fuck
and
yeah.
and he was like, it was, he simplified it. Obviously, it's much more nuanced, but he was just like, well, we liked Meshuggah and we liked Killswitch. And my brain just like went, whoa, like what the fuck? Like that, it made so much sense, but I never would have like put that together myself because there's such obscure like differences, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
because I always loved Periphery, particularly for that melodic sensibility, because it always had like a kill switchy vibe, which I didn't think it was a kill switchy vibe. It was just like this melodic, like Lydian vibe is, guitar nerdy speaky way of it, right? Where they would always do that. And I'm like, that's so cool, but then it's really groovy. So I was like, what? How did you like, what happened here? Like what existed? And then I remember him saying that. I was just like, whoa, that like thinking of loving those two things and bringing them together. And then it creates that. It's
dude.
Blew my fucking brain, dude.
Yeah, when two completely unique worlds collide, it's bound to make something as fucking new as Periphery.
Yeah,
and that's another band that just started a whole like.
Yep. Gent. Gent basically was spearheaded because Periphery at that point.
But like Meshuggah, invented the word.
But that's why it was so funny. Everyone who liked Gent knew Periphery, but then they were like, wait, what's Meshuggah? And it's like we lived in, that was a time, you know what I mean? Where like people had no idea of the influence of the thing. And dude, nowadays I talk with some of the like the younger kids, like I had like Blake from Disembodied Tyrant on. I don't know if you know
he's so sick, insane. Dude.
And it's cool talking to some of the like earlier 20s dudes now, because I asked them like, what? Because like the new music is absolutely psychotic, like so insane. Like, what did you listen to? And now he was like, I loved P2. Is one of the things he mentioned. I was like, that's so cool. Like now there's this newer generation making crazy music, and they liked like those newer like big massive albums, and that's what influenced them. And it's like
classic modern,
dude. Yeah, so we are gonna be boomers where we're like, dude, I remember when Killswitch dropped Days, dude, all my and the heartache and shit, dude, that was the time. Meanwhile, then the next generation would be like, dude, like P2 and like all our gods abandon us and like fucking, I'm trying to think of other 2010s albums. That was a weird era of like different shit. Yeah.
It was a mixed bag.
And then the generation after that's gonna be like, dude, yeah, I just listened to like Eternal Blue and like whatever that Bad Omens record is called with the long fucking name, and like I listened to
the Death, Peace of Mind.
Yeah. And I listened to even in Arcadia, like I just loved all those albums, and then we're gonna be like, whoa. That's like, and meanwhile they're probably creating like Complexo death electronic core, whatever the fuck at that time. Dude, whatever we're gonna call it,
Fuck, man. This I'm gonna have to go check my hair for grays when we finish this pod. This is like making me be like, fuck, how much time has elapsed since I learned like this is what a riff is, 5, 7, 8. Yes. Like this. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Fuck, man. And we skipped an era too. And I wanted to go back to this. And as I'm saying 5, 7, 8, I'm also thinking of like the 014 era, the first 014 era, like Jump for Cowboy.
Yep, 014 is sick. Bring Me, I think, popularized the 014 a lot. Yep. Funny enough,
they did. That was like the early infusion of that like Phrygian dominant sound. But
they would do 0143, and that was a weird. It like almost hardcoreified the Phrygianness. It made it like
the 5 would have been the Phrygian dominant.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So I guess that'd be putting, if you were in like drop D, that'd be like E flat harmonic minor, which is just fucking dumb.
Yep, it's weird.
I don't want to figure out the rest of the neck.
We speak in frets here, all right? Don't worry about it. Yes.
Yeah. I legitimately, I do that all the time. I'm like, are we talking like 023 or 014? They're like 014. I'm like, I know the whole neck. Let's go.
Dude, you know what got really popular? And Bring Me also, I think, was a big one at 203, because they would use 2 as the root. So it would be it would be Phrygian feeling, but then they would go to the 0, right? So it'd be like
the 7.
That's a very popular one too, which kind of came out of nowhere because it sounds Phrygian, but you utilized the 7 as your 0, and you're like, what the fuck? That was a big one. That got pretty big.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of really cool nerdy shit you can do. Like depending on like certain keys you use, like a lot of times in ink, we'll write these songs in C harmonic minor
Right.
on a 7 string,
Okay. Okay. I got
right?
you.
So
I'm
it's like
following.
fret 3 is 1,
Oh.
right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 No,
Right,
I got
right,
you. I
right.
got
So
you.
like A, fret 2, B, C. So C is 1, right? And then
Oh,
it
because you guys are
changes,
usually in drop A, right?
drop A on a 7, and then it changes the whole like relation to the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like playing a C would become I'm sorry, playing open in C would become like the 6, which is
Whoa.
also like that's like playing open to fret 8.
Yeah. Oh,
Playing
yeah. Yeah.
fret
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
6
Yeah.
is the 6 of the key. So all of a sudden going lower makes the 6, and it's like explosive, and that's the thick part, and like
Dude,
it's no longer up, it's
this
8.
shit gets so. I had a period of life where I taught for a few years, and I loved teaching because I fucking hate how so much of the internet taught over the years because they teach in
Same.
like very particular ways instead of explaining like how we're talking about so many different sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the most
Mm-hmm.
complex hard thing about musical, I think, knowledge, particularly when it relates to guitar, is they learn in terms of like this fucking scale and this and this and shit, but they don't understand how you manipulate the idea of intervals and how you manipulate sound based on what note came before it. You know what I mean? And that more so concept of like, that's why when we talk in frets, we talk in how like those notes are coming before it. We're talking in like patterns and how we're
Yep.
manipulating how music sounds through those patterns instead of, even though we're talking in a very nerdy way, instead
Sure.
of like the traditional music theory way that is still like always taught, which is cool. Hey, if kids can understand it, great. I always had kids come to me because they were like, I don't know. I fucking went online or like Berkeley and shit, and like I didn't understand any of this shit because I don't know my circle
Right.
of fifths. And I'm like, neither do I. You know,
Yeah.
like
You don't need to.
you don't
Yeah.
fucking need to, right? As long as
Yeah.
you understand the relation of how you are always basically you are the manipulator of what you're hearing because a C well, you can make a C sound a million different ways based on what note comes after or before. The
Right.
C in itself is almost irrelevant. That's why if you are in drop, it's just a frequency. Do you want to be in drop C or drop D? Well, what scales can I play? No, it's just do you want it to have everything to have a some lower frequency or everything a some higher frequency, and then everything revolved around that kind of shit. But like, dude, I don't even fucking remember. I just got in such a fucking rant, but like that's like something that always blows my mind, dude.
Dude, fucking hats off to you, man. The fact that we are bringing nerdy shit right now to the people who may want to hear it, and
Yes.
everyone else is just like turning it off because they don't give a shit. But
Comment down below if you're still here. You're a gangster,
yeah, please,
dude. Yeah,
please,
you're
if you
cool
made
as
it this far, you get a brownie point from both of us.
Yes.
DM us for brownies.
Brownies, yes.
There's something really, really potent and powerful about understanding theory enough.
Yes.
But my favorite thing about understanding words
Yes.
is like a theory is designed to be believed until proven incorrect by something else.
Exactly.
And we call it music theory.
Yep.
Right? So it's
100%.
like it's an entry point, and you get to say fuck the rules until they come up with like that's called a 5 of 5 chord. Like when Mozart did that, it was a broken rule, but then we determined that it has a name later, and now you can do it.
Yep.
Like theory, the edge of what music theory is like, I don't want to say it's constantly being like broadened and expanded, but like it kind of fucking is, dude.
Yeah.
It kind of fucking is. Like particularly, I remember the song Nocturnal Incisions
Yep.
that you sent to me, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this isn't the typical like ink key that we do, and like typical like you're starting the chorus on this. Okay,
I think
shit.
that's an 8503, by the way. I think 8503 that chorus.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I remember in the verse riff, I was able to sneak in a major third, but the minor third was what it was basically built around.
Yep, exactly.
And I was just doing all these like broken rules because like my ear was horny for it.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I love that description, and I am doubling down on that horniness with you right now, dude. Yep.
Yeah, dude. I'm fucking my ears rock hard.
Yep.
Rock hard. There's something about following like that thing, like following the scent, following the trail to see what the fuck comes out of it, instead of like I could have sat down and been like, okay, so he's doing all these chromatic runs. I'm seeing these scale shapes inside of that. So if he's doing this, then I think the song's in B minor, B harmonic minor, but sometimes he's doing so in this moment, maybe he's modulate. Like I could do that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to. Like sometimes it's fun to do that kind of analysis, but it's the it's the ear.
It's the ear,
Right?
dude.
It's the ear that leads the way. And like if you can follow and pursue that path, something unique always comes out of it.
Yep, 100%, dude.
And I think that most of the best songwriting typically comes from there.
Mm-hmm. It's because I mean, when it comes down to it, music is just
That's
what
ear
sounds
boners.
good.
Yeah.
It's and that's why when you simplify everything, even theory, I might be totally off of this. Like, I mean, I'm assuming it was one day based on someone discovering patterns of what sounded good to their ear, and then they turned it into theories, you know, and
Yeah,
like and
straight up.
and a study of it, you know. But like way back in fucking caveman when they were going ooga ooga, dun, you know, and obviously we're chugging and drop C, you know, and playing 5/7/8 riffs. They didn't fucking know that they were playing 5/7/8 riffs. Those cavemans were just ooga booging, dude. They were just going for it, man.
Dude, that's another t-shirt. Right
That's
there, Booga booga. Yeah, and it's like it's like we don't need to get on all this nerdy shit, but it's
Yeah.
like dudes like fucking Fibonacci, Pythagoras, like all
Yeah.
these guys were doing like math and discovering golden ratios
Yeah.
and realizing I think Aristotle was the one who did it, I think. But it's like the idea of taking a length and cutting it up into segments and then realizing that that could be put onto like a stringed instrument and it creates sounds based on like geometric balance.
That's
And let's be
crazy.
fucking honest, music is geometry for the ears, right?
That's a shirt right there. You got that one, dude.
It's fucked, right? And like when something sounds off, it's because you know that like that circle's not fitting in the square hole,
Hmm.
and your ear, you may not have the words for why it doesn't work, but your ear just went flaccid.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Limp lobes.
Limp lobes.
It's a really, really interesting thing when you start to realize, like I talk about this all the time when I'm teaching songwriting. It's like there's an unspoken music math behind
Yep.
stuff.
Mhm.
Like if you are gonna do like an A B chorus pattern, I'm lost. I
Yep.
don't want to hear it more than one time.
Yep.
You got to do at least A B A C or like A B A prime C,
Yep.
right? Or you could be a fuckhead and do A B C D, but you have to be able to bring it back at the
Yeah.
end and like do like a B C prime D prime thing,
Yep.
right? Where you're doing like a slight alteration and like an ornamentation on
I
something.
love out
but
of
it's
context
like
this podcast. If you only clip us talking about numbers and ABCs,
Numbers
it would
and letters,
be, it would
yeah.
be like just the most like is this what is happening here? Just
5, 7, 8 Pythagoras A B C. Yeah, dude, please make that clip.
yeah, there we go.
Please.
I'll make sure my
Yeah.
editor gets right on it. He's probably sitting there doing like, dude,
Fucking idiots.
5 a.m. brother. Like, can you guys just say something fucking funny so like I can just like get the clip, dude? Like it's just like
Yeah. This the audience is dwindling the further we get into this, but I'd be in that fucking audience.
dude.
So,
It's cool to talk about this kind of shit because people don't really talk about it because it's nerdy. But it's
It
also
is
fun.
nerdy.
It's fun to itch your brain, and I feel like that's why I love talking with people that you can kind of do that with, and like because it's not happening nowadays, man. And you know when it comes to the metal scene's doing this, and then the content scene, I get so bored, dude, because everyone loves their dramas and talks about this and this and this, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I rather a million times sit here and talk with my homie about 5/7/8 and theorems than like, yo, that fucking is that AI guitarist real? Like, bro, like I who fuck care? Like I want to talk about
Yeah.
cool shit, dude. Like,
Right,
and by the way, they're
right,
probably
right.
not, but like that's fine. They can deal with that. Like I just
Yeah.
like, dude, like, but 5/7/8, bro, like that's the shit, you know, that like I feel like resonates so much more with people, and it's so much more exciting and brings more value.
yeah.
And there's so much cool stuff to talk about that, like, again, I wish the scene spent time talking about the cool stuff instead of always focusing on like the negative shit or the weird shit or this and that, and just like be
Yeah.
like, dude, like we're like the world's sick, we're alive, and we get to play fucking music and breakdowns, dude.
So real, dude.
That's
It's so
sick,
real.
dude. Like,
We don't need this like TMZ scandal bullshit that the
Nah.
whole scene seems to have become kind of built around. And like, dude, I get it
yeah,
on one hand, and then on the other hand, I feel the exact same way, dude. It's like if I see a negative headline, like
yeah.
I don't get played into being like, oh, let me read that article. I go,
I love how you
"This is
turn
fucking-"
instantly like, hell yeah, brother, with that.
Yeah, dude, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not even gonna make the next joke that's coming to my mind.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's something about like focus on what's fucking awesome, focus on what's good, focus on connection and collaborating with people, focus on making
Yeah.
something.
Making cool
Like
stuff.
if you can develop a life where you're
Hmm.
creating more than you're consuming,
Yeah.
then there's like a beautiful balance inside of that. And I feel like so much of today's day and age is built around the craft of consumption.
Yeah, man. I think also just getting older and also dealing with real life stuff, dude. Even like
Right.
fucking
Tax season, dude.
the
Fuck.
taxi is crazy, bro. But like just real life shit, you start to just I think value. I mean, life more. You know, shit happens in your
Yeah.
life, and like real stuff goes. You know, we're not 18 anymore. We're immortal and all this shit, and like we go through fucking shit. Like, and like I remember when my wife was dealing with stuff, I like there was always internet stuff, and I'm like I kind of don't give a fuck. I just want to sit here and like take care of my wife and like do cool metal stuff and like all this
Yeah.
stuff, and like everyone deals with shit, dude, and it's just like it kind of brings you to reality of like what's actually important in life, and like it definitely changes your perspective on shit, dude.
Second
Goosebumps, dude.
goosebumps again, dude.
Dude,
It's the second one.
I know you, and I know you were very public about it too. I know you were dealing with like really serious shit too, and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
did that like change your perspective on life after going through that and treatments and all that stuff?
Fuck, dude, more than like I could ever explain with words. And it's so funny because just this last weekend I was on a hike and
Mm.
my buddy was like, dude, would you ever like skydive? And I sat there for a second thinking about it. I was like, no, dude, the idea of like playing with death for fun
Can be
isn't
crazy,
something that excites me. Like
right?
I played with death when I had to,
Yeah, yeah.
and I made a choice during it to not get like consumed by like
Hmm.
the bad, the dark, the fucking the what ifs.
Hmm.
And I made a choice in that moment when I got my diagnosis, like I'm gonna beat this shit. And it was
Hmm.
actually really, really emotional. I was at a dinner like 2 days prior to that for my girlfriend's cousin had a birthday,
Hmm.
and he was explaining to someone at the table, he was talking about how much anxiety he had when he found out that I had cancer.
Damn, dude.
He was
Yeah.
like, bro, like it fucked me up so bad. And I would call my girlfriend's name is Chelsea. Like I would call Chelsea to like check in on you guys.
Hmm.
And she would make sure like you weren't around so that she could feel the same anxiety I was feeling. But we were all blown the fuck away that you didn't have anxiety through it and that you
Hmm.
were just like even keeled,
Hmm.
calm. Like you like the best way I could explain it is I made a fucking choice.
Yeah, yeah, man.
It's a really weird way to kind of put that, but like I knew I'd be fine and I knew I wasn't gonna fuck with the what ifs.
Yeah, yeah.
And based on knowing that, I'm not gonna fuck with the what ifs of like, how did this dude pack my parachute? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh god,
Like,
yeah. Relying on other people for your life is that's the scariest part. I'm
yeah,
like,
dude.
geez,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
putting your hands in someone else's. It's just like, oh, okay, well, like first of all, you're not me, so like if I like peace out, like yeah, I mean it's gonna be a little tough on you, but like you're not me, I'm peaced out. Then you know, like that's always like a really tricky morality thing to kind of
Yeah.
I think come to terms with.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez,
It's really, really like a profound, fucked up, heavy thought to just recognize like you can't control shit,
yeah.
but you can make choices, right? The
Mm.
second you make a choice, it's gonna be something within the reality of what you can like make an effort towards controlling. But like
Yeah,
I couldn't control getting that diagnosis.
yeah, yeah.
What I could control was how I wanted to operate inside of it, how I felt, and who I wanted to collaborate with
Mhm.
in order to like solve it or
Yeah, yeah.
dissolve it is more how I want to like talk about it, right?
Mhm.
But I remember at a certain point, like I found the best fucking like endocrinologist I could find. I got the best on oncologist and the best surgeon for it.
Mhm.
And he like literally like Prince of fucking Saudi Arabia like would fly to this dude to have like
Right,
surgery.
right,
Like
yeah.
he's like a goaded surgeon.
Gotcha.
And he's sitting there, he's like, I got you, dude. This is gonna be all good. But before we put you under, can you sign here that states that you will not sue us if I fuck up? Kind of
Jeez,
thing.
it's dude
And
so terrifying.
yeah, he's like, maybe, just maybe, because we're operating on your throat and your vocal cord area.
Yeah.
Like you might come out with your voice. You might come out with Mickey Mouse octave higher. You might come out with an octave lower. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, two of those sound cool. I don't like
Yeah. The Mickey
the low
Mouse one
one.
was cool, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like,
exactly,
dude, I was like,
exactly.
we're gonna go to Disney, we're gonna have a fucking party after, you know? I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, yeah,
exactly, dude. My exact thought was like, please don't be an octave lower.
that-
Um, I can't be doing like sexy voice all the time.
yeah,
I'd rather
dude.
be doing
We
fucking
don't have
squeaky
enough
shit.
saxophone for that one. We got
No,
it
dude.
next time.
No, no, no.
Well, that whole
I'm not in a baddie core band to get away
no.
with that shit. But the premise of just like, okay, dude, like I'm here, I'm in this fucking gown, like I am about to be put under, like
Hmm.
there's my name. I relent. I'm in your fucking hands. And it's
Damn.
like the amount of times that's happening on a day-to-day basis is fucking insane. Like,
Yeah, man.
choose to put on your seatbelt, but something really shitty can fucking happen.
Oh, dude, it's
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and operating in life in a way that you know you're doing your best allows you to at least feel good with wherever the fuck you're headed.
yeah, man, dude. I mean, even when Paula was having her surgery, it was like that was probably one of the most scary times of my scary times of
Yeah, I'm
my
so
life.
glad that she pulled through on that, dude.
Dude, thank you. Like it was one of those things where even I was like, we went through I think 7 or 8 different gynecologists to like figure out because it was like
Right?
it's like you have to trust someone's capacity to what they're doing and it's a very important thing. It's just like I don't know, like, and you just keep going through people and people, and you're like, holy shit, this person, like, this is life. Like, you have to just blind trust a person you don't know. You know what I mean? And that's why, dude, I have so much respect and love for you, man. And then like you going through that shit, particularly with what you were going through, is like, holy fuck, man. I mean, that's terrifying. And for many people, can be like just crumbling. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
crumble, and it's really hard to get through to deal with it. And I applaud you, man, for just being a badass and going for it. And you're all like 100% clean kind of bill now. Okay, that's awesome,
Dude,
man.
I'm 100% healthy, and not like before we even talk
Yeah,
about my shit again. Like,
yeah,
I'm so glad that Paula is good. I'm so glad you guys
yeah.
found the doctors that you need. I'm so glad you guys had like a fucking successful surgery. That shit is so fucking scary, man. And one of the biggest things, and I'm just gonna make this about like everyone listening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
The biggest thing I learned in that shit is self-advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't speak up for yourself,
Yep.
you will be fucking played. And I hate to say that, but like,
Yeah.
we are in a medical industrial complex.
Yeah.
We're in big pharmaville. We're not in
Yeah.
like, we're in health care, not
Yeah.
wellness care,
Yeah,
right?
well, it's
Sick
really
care.
tricky because I mean, you were depending on someone's life, and also it's. I mean, you could tie it to something as extreme as that, or something as little as like or as small as like you have an agent or a manager. Like, no one's going to care about you more than you. Like that's like it's just no one's going to care about your well being. Like
Yeah.
again, it can be sad, it can be this, but like they're going to go on with their day and do their thing, and that's fine, that's respectful, whatever. Like, and depending on how they are as a person, sometimes they even have to numb that part of them. I mean, being a doctor, mad respect, the most psychotic thing ever. Because I'm like, just to deal with that and have people's like
Yeah.
lives at your hands every day, dude. That like I would throw up every day doing that because it's just that's so much pressure and stress, and that's why it's like every time I meet someone like I'm a doctor or a nurse, I'm like, you are amazing, and I could never do what you do, and I do not know how you're not a psychopath, like just genuinely, because that is a crazy thing to have to deal with every day. You know what I mean?
Superhero shit, man.
Yeah.
It really fucking is. My girlfriend was a surgical tech and surgical assistant for a while,
Oh
and she was
shit.
like she was in the room with that shit.
Fuck.
I don't want to tell any of her stories, but I get
Gotcha.
stories all the fucking time, and it's just like she stopped doing it because of how
It's heavy, man, right?
it's fucking heavy, dude.
Yeah, and not cool heavy like what we
No, no,
yeah, no.
not like a
Like,
deathcore chord heavy,
yeah, no, it's like
like
a
my soul hurts heavy.
fuck, man.
I will say the job she went into after that was some Dexter shit.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Real fucking gnarly. But it was because she didn't want to be working with living bodies anymore, is
That's
the easiest way I could say that.
dude, that's fair. That is fair,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
It's do
Yeah.
you obviously, yeah, life is so fragile, and it's just like something to embrace and appreciate. And like, dude, like nowadays, how are you? What's going on with you? What's going on with life? Obviously, like whether people know you from oh fuck, now I can't say the abbreviation.
Arb.
Okay, I'm gonna say arb now, but I feel like that's harder than as blood runs black. Like that's just not even
ABRB. ABRB.
ABR. No, because I'm gonna say
ABR.
ABR. It's I can't control
Blood
that.
Runs Black is like 15 fucking syllables, dude.
As blood runs black. Whether they know you from
I'm
that
wrong, but you know what
or Ice Nine Kills, you know what I mean? How like what have you been like nowadays? What's your kind of go to? What's your day? I know you mentioned rock climbing, or not rock climbing, but
It is
climbing.
bouldering. It's yeah,
Bouldering. Okay.
it's similar. My life these days is built around like wellness and feeling good.
That's awesome, dude.
It's a really, really, really important thing. Having had like all of that risked and like I don't want to say threatened because it makes it sound like
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah, no,
threatening.
yeah. Someone wasn't going there and be like, I'm gonna fuck you
Yeah,
up,
I'm a,
brother. Yeah.
yeah, dude. But like, you know what, to a certain degree, it like felt like that. Like I lost my mom to brain cancer. I left As Blood
Yeah.
Runs Black many, many years ago to like be my mom's caregiver in the last like
Mm,
2 years of her life. She had brain cancer. So like for
fuck.
me to be hit with the big C word
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, dude, like this cosmic joke of this is something that I don't understand yet and I can't laugh.
Right, right.
And you know what? I'm gonna talk about this because it may hit somebody in the right way.
Mhm.
Um, and it also may just make me sound fucking nuts, but I'm totally cool with that.
Mhm.
I did a lot of like spiritual work on myself and a lot of physical healing and mental healing and a lot of just all the like shadow work stuff you can imagine. And my neighbor at the time, one of my best fucking friends, his name is Josh. He had been training to become an ayahuasca facilitator
Okay.
and doing it. Do you know what ayahuasca is?
It's the
Jungle
yes,
juice.
yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Jungle
I
juice.
know
It
I know
is,
from Brazil, ayahuasca, what ayahuasca is.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Brazil, Peru, the Shipibo. There's like so many different like beautiful cultures that have been brewing this shit for like 5,000 fucking years. And in the Amazon rainforest, there's like
Mhm.
fucking 20,000 different trees. And they've found this combination of two, sometimes three of these very particular trees that make DMT bioavailable to the body. And like,
Oh, okay.
and that's the magic part, right? Like you could have this leaf with DMT in it and eat it and it would do nothing.
Mhm.
But if you have it with like, I believe it's the chacruna leaf. There's an ayahuasca vine, a chacruna leaf, and then there's this other thing. If you combine these in a very specific amount
Right.
and brew it a very specific way, you will go on like a fucking 10-hour trip through the creation of life
Whoa.
uh, and death. Like
Okay.
it was wild. And Josh pushed me for like 2 years. He like was a huge part. My girlfriend legitimately saved my life.
Mhm.
And that's a whole other series of stories. She's the one who found the tumor in my neck. And like
Oh my
she had
goodness.
like a she also trained in like radiology. So when we went to get my ultrasound the first time, they were like thumbing through it and she's like, go back 3 slides. Like that's
No
calcification on the thyroid.
fucking
They were like, oh, good
way.
eye. Dude, she like
What the
legitimately in all the
fuck?
ways saved my life. Um, but because I was on shitty fucking Medi-Cal insurance,
Hmm.
I was getting students, they were training on me, right? So it was like I would go to right.
Oh god, dude.
And a thyroid biopsy, bro, is they take it's called a fine needle aspiration. It's like a giant fucking needle that's hollow. They put you in supine position, so they have your head here and tilt you backwards, so your head's like lower, like how
Mhm.
they would slit like a pig's throat, basically. And
Jesus
you're
Christ.
strapped down, and they take this fucking needle and they jam it into your thyroid in every direction for 15 seconds, 5 times. They have to get as much tissue as possible, and the students fucked up, so I had to come back and do it a second time. And I was like, yo, 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 okay, hold on. Okay, so a professor can come in and do it the second time, and y'all can watch and learn from someone who does it correctly instead of
Mhm.
let me
Mhm.
be your fucking accident, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like my point, bringing back to Josh, like he drove me to the hospital the second time. Like he was my neighbor. He backing me up every time I'd be like losing my shit and having anxiety about it. He would
Yeah.
like come down and walk and talk me through it. But the whole time he's like, bro, you gotta check out ayahuasca. Like I really think it's gonna be huge for you. And it took me a while to be open to it. And before I was open to it, he actually pushed me to get into bouldering. So he's like a huge part of everything that I'm feeling
Oh
basically
shit,
in
man.
my life right now. And bouldering for me, it was like after my surgery, after I got cleared, because
Mhm.
I had this like, what was it, like a 6 inch scar across my fuck. The scar is like you can probably barely see it. It
Yeah,
healed
I
so
can see it.
well. Yeah, it's not even there.
Mhm.
But it was like gnarly and like moving my neck was like felt like Frankenstein, where I would just like my head
Yeah,
would fall off type
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But after I got cleared, my doctors were like, "Yeah, go begin exercising and shit." So I started doing this, and I'm legitimately afraid of heights, right?
Mhm.
So he was like, "Dude, let's use this as like hormesis, like hormone training to train your body to be like used to adrenaline and cortisol, and then
Mhm.
like transmuted into like dopamine and
Right, right.
endorphins and the good shit, right? So he pushed me to do all this, and then I finally was like conquering my fears of that while simultaneously having conquered the fears of like dealing with what my mom dealt with and moving past it.
Damn,
I
bro.
still hadn't gotten like the you're all clear yet from my doctors because you had to wait 6 months to get tested again to see if I was good.
Mhm.
And at this point, I decided to finally try ayahuasca. And bringing it back to the reason why I'm bringing this up, the cosmic joke. Some people, like I remember people in the room screaming their fucking heads off. Like they were, one of the girls the next day was like, I was watching visuals of like gory torture and murder. And another person was like, I was watching myself die on loop until I finally decided it was okay. And then I was alive. Like everyone's talking about all this shit. And I'm sitting there for 8 hours laughing hysterically.
You just
Like,
fuck, dude.
like I'm laying on my back, just like laughing so fucking hard and giggling. And like everyone else is just like throwing up and screaming and crying. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And losing my shit. Right.
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm not going to say names, but
Yeah.
there's like a healer dude.
Yeah.
I almost just said his name, and then another lady who like assists him,
Yeah.
and they invited me to come into the center of the ceremony for like this healing mat thing. And I didn't tell them shit about shit. They didn't know
Right.
anything about what I was dealing with, right? And the facilitator, who's this incredible fucking musician, he just improvises music for 8 hours.
Oh wait, he's the music. That's such a random fucking right turn. He's like,
But
dude,
it's
let's
the
trip and then make bangers, brother.
it was so sick, dude. And he's such a fuck. Ironically, is connected to System of a Down, which is very funny.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
going to say more
Yeah.
than that, but like some really cool people are in this circle. He's sitting there and he starts singing this song about like, forgive me, mother, forgive me, father. And like, he's just improvising shit as I'm like sitting there. And I like,
Yeah.
how do you know how do you know that me and my dad are not good right now? What the fuck? And then the dude who's doing like the healing on my stomach starts like coughing and like throwing spirit energy around. And then the lady puts her hand on my forehead and she's like, she's here, she forgives you, everything's okay, she
Whoa.
misses you, she loves you. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, my mind is saying I should cry, but my body is gonna laugh like this is the funniest joke in the world. And I'm sitting there having these people do all this shit around me, and
Right,
it's
right.
like, there's like 20 plus people in the room going
Yeah.
through shit, and these three magical humans are all focused on me and saying like all this crazy, and I'm just like, what the fuck? This is wild. And I was like ashamed. Afterwards, after the ceremony was over, it's like, 3 a.m. and everyone's coming out of it. They're like, what the fuck? I go up to the guy who was doing the healing on me and I'm like, hey man, so like I know I should have been crying.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to cry. Like I felt like that's the purging that like my body needed, but I couldn't stop laughing. He goes, what happens when like a kid doesn't understand a joke? They cry, they get upset.
Whoa.
What happens when a kid gets the joke? They laugh. He's like, you understand the joke now. And I was like, and I Goosebumps 3. My whole body was like, oh my God, bro.
Dude, that's
Oh my
fucking
God.
crazy.
Does that kind of click for you? I didn't
That,
say it the greatest, but it's just
yeah.
like
Dude, I mean,
my body was releasing it through laughter because I
mhm.
finally understood that like everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. I'm
Right.
exactly where I'm
I mean,
supposed to be with who I'm supposed to be with.
I mean, everyone also like deals with things so differently, and it's I feel like when I was younger, I found more people that could relate to with that. But now it is hard. Like I deal personally with like whether it's realizing things or like coming through like a crazy, transcendental, like not through that. That's an insane experience, but like maybe I don't know, through like going outside and being like that is through laughter. Like I myself even deal with sometimes grief because it's just the way
Of course.
of me being able to translate that energy into something that is more understandable for me and release it in the healthiest way I personally know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's I feel like we relate in capacities with that. We're probably where we have stared at the craziest things in our faces and like life and the most daunting and fears. We probably both in ways probably like we laugh sometimes. It's just like we laugh because it's just like, all right, like it's a
Dude.
way to accept it and to understand that type of like crazy energy of life. And I think there are people that I mean do that a lot. not maybe probably as publicly, but it's like one of those things where it's just like that's how they cope, that's how they understand things, and that's the healthiest way to release that energy. And writing bangers, of course.
Right.
Which, by the way,
might help.
do you like you going through all of this? Like, have you felt inspired to write like just the craziest fucking music of your life? Because that seems like one of those, probably not the best wording, perfect formulas of
if you want to be creative, you have to suffer.
That's why I don't want that. That's not the intention of that sentence, but in terms of like those specific events that have happened in someone's life where you come together and you're like, you just feel so inspired by literally your like life that you can come up with some of like just the most amazing things, amazing music. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Life is for fucking living.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tend to forget that. They're like, life is for work. Life is for fucking, the struggle means that like I'm living well. Like life is for fucking living, man. And the more you can experience, the more you have something to say creatively. And that's not to say like I said, I made a joke about it. Like you need to be depressed and suffer to be creative. No, dude, you just need to like live a life well lived. And that comes with the ups and downs, man. And like where my Inside Out Part 1, sadly and ironically, was about the 6 months leading up to my mom dying. And like I wrote the song, all 6 songs on that in those 6 months. I wrote a couple of songs after that, and Inside Out Part 2, the next record that I'm preparing to release now. I've been sitting on it for fucking years because it's just so challenging for me to like look at and listen to, because it just brings me back to this fucking time.
Right.
But I took a couple of songs from the years after my mom passed, and I like redesigned them and redeveloped them, actually maintaining quite a few of the takes, which is cool about, digital recording. There's takes that I recorded in like 2018, 2017 that are in this like new record. Which is cool. And then a couple of them are from my post-cancer thing. So it was supposed to be leading up to my mom passing and her passing, and then part 2 is supposed to be like life continues after losing the people you care most. And then it also shifted and includes this like what happens when your own life is on the line. Right. And I never planned, like dude, Goosebumps number 4. I never planned on this being what this record was about. Like it's all supposed to be like cathartic medicine for me. And that's exactly what it is, bro. It's exactly what it is. And it's become the most emotionally prolific shit that I've done so far. It also birthed all the stuff that I'm singing on. I've got this like new alt rock throwback 90s sort of rock thing that I've been doing. And I started singing right before and right after I had my thyroid tumor removed.
After? Holy shit.
Yeah. Bro, it was wild. So my tumor was like collapsing my trachea. And I didn't really like know it, but I was like, oh, I'm just having allergies. Like I'm having allergies that are lasting a month. So it just feels weird. God. And the fucking, bro, the MRI was like, my trachea was like impinged and curved. Yeah. Around my tumor. But I swear to you, so I'm not this like crazy psychedelic fucking dude, but I never thought of myself as someone who could sing. In fact, there's one experience that I had where I tried when I was younger and showed somebody, and they like made fun of me for it. And I was like, cool. I'll stick to guitar. I'm never doing that again.
Jeez.
And then right before all the shit went down with my thyroid, I started exploring with just psychedelics, thanks to my neighbor Josh. He was just like a big proponent of like, let's dive deep into your shit. And I did mushrooms one day and came to the next day with a song recorded. And I was like, the fuck? What the fuck? And I'm singing and I don't sound as bad as I remember. And I started exploring it and kind of like diving deeper into that. And I remember as soon as I got like the clear from my doctor to start singing, I did another song called The Blue. And I remember the first time that I sang, I felt like I had to bend notes around something. And I was like, that's why it feels like I can't sing, because I was bending notes around something.
Oh, what the fuck? Dude,
and then all of a sudden it was wild.
Dude, it's because vocals it's such a I always say it's a psychological instrument. As a person coming as a guitarist into that world, an instrumentalist, and like trying to even like my screaming, right? It is the most psychologically fucked up thing ever. So if you also have a physical aspect that is limiting you and restricting you, that is,
Yeah.
dude, that shit is insane to deal with. Holy dude.
Yeah. And vocals are really, I mean, I would say it's all like acting, right? Like if
Yeah.
I was to say like, come here, and I had a certain look in my eyes, you'd be like, oh, this will be fine. But if I change the look in my eyes, you'd be like, I'm not getting close to that dude.
Yeah.
Right? There's like something behind the eyes that
Yeah.
changes the way it sounds before I even change the way that I'm saying it.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like when you're singing, that same invisible thing is there. Like what I'm feeling and how I'm expressing the thing is actually like tangible on the other end.
Yep.
And if done well enough, the person listening to your song isn't hearing you, they're seeing themselves
Right.
in the
It's more
song.
of a relatable aspect to
Yeah,
it.
it's like reflective. Like I always say that like the speakers should become mirrors when they're listening to your music.
That's cool.
And I do the same thing with my solos. Like obviously when I'm riffing, I'm like 5, 7, 8. Like hit those fucking
5, 7, 8, 4, bro. Don't forget the fucking 4,
exactly.
man.
But if I'm doing like a big emotive solo, like I'm closing my eyes and I'm like picturing like a sunset over a fucking mountain with like
Yeah, dude.
like a flock of crows, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's the vision, that's the visual that I want inside of this. And I'm trying to like put like a, what's it called? Sine wave, where you can make like visuals show up inside of.
Yeah, the actual waveforms like show up like on your DAW or whatever.
Like Mick Gordon did that shit. Did you see what he did there?
Dude, that dude did so much for metal, and that he needs so much more credit for that shit, dude. Fucking crazy.
So fucking good. But the concept of like, I believe he put like 666 inside of like the EQ of the sound. So if you actually like perceive it backwards, it's like is blah 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 blah. Right. So like I'm playing with some sort of medium that I don't really understand. But like when you are putting something real into music, when you're authentically doing it for the sake of like, I need to do this for me, I'm expressing something authentically from me for me. People feel that on the other end. And I think that's where it like typically transfers into becoming something that transcends your own fucking speakers and like gets out there and affects people positively or negatively.
Do you feel like that's like, because Ink particularly is such like a band that has that, you know what I mean? It's very like, there's a lot of that element of showcasing and I mean, acting to a point, of course, too. Like, I don't know how you guys fucking do that shit. But like, do you feel like that element translates to Ink pretty naturally for you as well? Because the whole band seems very theatrical. I know Spencer is like literally the theater kid dude, you know, and he's like, like he fucking goes for it. And that's so cool because like not many people like commit for it. But like, yeah, do you feel like that kind of translates when you're doing Ink stuff as well, or?
It does, dude. And I'm like, trying to figure out if I want to. Yeah, I might as well express this, dude. Like, like metal as a whole is a fucking hole. It's a dark place.
Yeah. Dude.
Right. And it's beautiful because a lot of people get to like express this thing that they don't know how to express, and like the vocals and the fucking I can scream in my car and I'm actually getting this like energy out of me.
Yeah.
You know, it's very again medicinal. It's similar to like a laugh. Like laughter is medicine. Music is medicine. Metal is medicine. There's a lot of really
that should be a shirt
studies.
too. Metal is medicine, dude. Like 7 shirts, like
dude. Let's just start a new company,
like,
man. I'm all in.
Go for it, dude.
There's something really really powerful. Like there's some really cool studies actually that like people that listen to metal are psychologically. Obviously, we know metalheads are fucking weird.
Oh, we're all fucking crazy. We're all fucking crazy. We're all fucking crazy. Yeah.
But there's something about like the repressed emotions are lessened because we listen to metal, as well as the fact that like classical music was like the thinking man's music. Yeah. And there's some interesting correlations between metal being similar to that.
Well, it's also so extreme where I know I always relate it to also on the, and I'm not a big movie dude, but like obviously like horror movies, like there's such an extremity to it where it also provides a numbness to it because it's so extreme and you're exposed to it so much.
Like desensitized?
Yes, massive. Dude, I had Dean from Archfire on. I love talking about that exact concept with him because I was like, do you is anything like kind of extreme? You know what I mean? That because like you guys must be desensitized because you guys make literally probably the most extreme modern music I've ever heard. And he was just like, you know, he explained it in a much funnier way. He's just like, yeah, like we're pretty desensitized, dude. Like it's like, and then you show it to like, you know, Archfire to like a regular person, and they're like, what the fuck is this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
It's just like a machine gun to the fucking dome.
yes, dude. And I
Yeah.
feel like metal in general, obviously being that extreme element where we're all, we're all fucking metalheads on like music, but like we don't, I think a lot of us don't realize because we're exposed to it so much that the extremity of it and how we're kind of numb to that. And it's just like so normalized that we don't
Yeah.
react probably as much as like, again, someone who literally has listened to just like top 50 their whole life.
It's super real, man. The emotions and the abilities inside of the world of metal is like so extreme that it invites a certain type of person in, and I think it invites a certain type of healing as
Mm.
well, which I think
Yep.
is really fucking powerful. Um, but yeah, bro, like my old band, Fallen Figure,
Mm.
I wrote this record when I was 15, 16 called Divival, and it was about like all of the evils of man have been inherited into the womb of the earth and a creature like it was just like darkness.
Dude, that's
Like I look
crazy
back,
deepness for 15.
I dude, but
we're like, dude, our gym teacher fucking pissed us off today, but like that's way deeper, dude. Holy shit.
bro, I was fucking pissed. Like I was
Okay.
like I would like hurt anything I could at that point in
Right.
my life. You know what I mean? Including myself and my own psyche by writing this like
Mhm.
dark themed fucking record. And it was like really fucking just dark.
Yeah.
And I ironically, so do you know Zach Oren
No.
from Castle Ultimate Studios? He did like All Shall Perish, His Blood
Okay.
Runs
Okay.
Black,
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
fucking Suffocation, all these legendary bands. But we recorded our record with him, and I've been in touch with him. We're actually doing a remix remaster and gonna re-release this record.
That's sick, dude.
Fucking holds up, dude. Like it is an
That's
incredibly
how you
like
know you make a banger, bro. That's what we was talking about.
2009, dude. Like just I don't know how
Mhm.
it's the era. It's the good era, right at that
Yeah.
like precipice of change.
Yep.
But I am telling the future. All of the lyrics are about exactly what's going on right now.
Fuck.
And it was like kind of scary.
Yep.
It was kind of fucking weird. Kind of some Nostradamus shit that I didn't really want to like bring to everybody. Like I don't know what I did, and I'm sorry. Is basically what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I feel like I need to apologize. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
dude.
I'm just like, just here
My
we go. I'm
bad.
pre-apologizing. Like we're chilling. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so fucking dark. And when I was offered the spot to join as Blood Runs Black at a time when we didn't have a vocalist, there was a moment where I was almost the vocalist. Like we had a guy, I don't need to talk about it, but he like
Mhm.
couldn't scream more than like 3 words before blowing out his voice.
Could he
So
not?
he
He
would
couldn't
leave
even
the
throw
stu-
down the ruckus, dude.
It was not even a ruck.
Oh,
Like it
come
was
on.
barely a fucking double syllable, dude. It was bad, but he would leave the studio and then I would like re-record the vocals and he'd come back the next day be like, "Oh, I got a lot further along than I thought. That's sick." It was like this weird, it was this really weird period. And then he left, and then we got my old vocalist from Fallen Figure joined the band, and I had to write all the lyrics for this. And I was like, okay, I'm actually in like a platform now where there's like people who are gonna fucking hear this and it's gonna like affect people's lives. And I don't want people, dude, music is like a religious experience. I'm anti-religion. I'm anti fucking all of that type of shit. Like I'm not a fan of it, but it's a religious experience. When you have like 500 people saying the same thing together, like it creates a feeling.
Yeah, dude.
Right. And that feeling is 500x'd by everyone feeling it at the same time. So having a dark lyric and the vocalist like puts the mic out and everyone says like, "Suck my ass." It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like that's not good for, what is that, an Attila song?
It depends what
Right.
what the crowd's into.
You're right, dude. You're right. On this OnlyFans era we're in, that might be a banger, a different kind of banger.
OF core, bro. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. Only Dan's coming soon.
Only dance. You heard it here first.
There's a t-shirt, dude. We got another one.
Oh,
But the concept I'm trying to say here is like I sat there thinking about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this, like this is the record Instinct on As Blood Runs Black's catalog, if anybody knows that shit. But I decided to be like super mega hyper positive and about like believing in yourself and like taking the fucking risk no matter what. And I was speaking about my own situation. I left my band, my baby, to join As Blood Runs Black. And it was like this huge time in my life where I wrote these lyrics to look back at myself and feel good, right? And I had the ability to write the lyrics so I could see, kids across time being affected positively by that. Like people getting tattoos of lyrics I'm writing, and they're like, dude, this fucking song like saved my life, which is crazy shit that you never expect to hear. And I started to realize that my purpose, and this is bringing it back, my purpose is to like shine a light in a dark place.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't care how fucking cheesy that shit sounds. When I got the offer to join Inc., that was like the first thought that came to my mind. I was like, this is a dark world that focuses on dark shit. We are like parodying fucking murder movies and like slashers,
that
and
is
like
some of the darkest themes is that can revolve around humanity, and
right. And like, granted, I'm thankful that we're not like writing songs about like Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean? Like,
has that ever been like a fun side? Like, okay,
no,
because like that's a whole, like, I know you guys do the movies, and then it was the books before. Like serial, that's like a fucking crazy, probably like loophole of shit.
That's crossing a line, dude. That's like capitalizing on actual fucking murder and shit.
Yeah.
I worked with one artist, his badass. His name's Ryan Sherwin. Who actually eventually became a host of like a ghost hunting show that was like televised. It was pretty sick.
That's sick.
But we wrote a themed album that was about like actual. It was about Ed and Lorraine Warren. I don't know if you know who they are. They're like the two most famous ghost hunters who were like mediums and would like the Amityville horror stuff. Like we were writing songs about actual hauntings.
Oh shit.
And I was like, I don't like this, dude. I feel uncomfortable because like this kid actually, you know.
Right, there's like
he's traumatized, and we're like writing the part about how like he was pulled out of his bed, and it felt weird to be talking about reality, and I was like kind of crossing a line in my own moral shit, and luckily we rectified that, and I felt fine with it because, you know,
well,
I was shining my light in a dark place.
Well, it can be tricky because also as a musician, you never know the piece of art that you create that gets, you know, like no one knows like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the biggest hit, you know what I mean? Like very rarely can someone have that vision and be like, oh yeah, this is all right, let's go. Like I did, that's the thing, and then it blows up, right? It's like a lot of the times it's the thing you never think, and then you got to be careful because if you do it and shine so much of a focus on something that maybe, you know, you're like, oh, this is like interesting, but like I'm not, you know, maybe fully down with the concept, you know what I mean, of what's happening. It can be tricky because then that becomes way more of your life than you probably ever intended it to be. And now you have to be part of this world that you probably never intended it to be a part of. You just wanted to maybe do like a one-off cool little, oh, that's a cool concept. But it can become, especially when you're in a band that big, you know, it can be like, oh, we got to be a bit more like careful and like what we put out. We got to really make sure that like down the line, we like really fuck with that. Because if not, it can be a dangerous game we're playing, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's you know, it's playing with a dirty light switch like you had. It's like if you're accidentally inviting some like buzz and hum of some frequency you didn't want in your recording, and all of a sudden there's like actual murder in your song, and you're like, you know what? That doesn't feel good when I go to bed at night. Like it kind of like you don't know what you're inviting in sometimes, and like again, this comes back to what I was saying before. You can't really control that shit, but you can make a choice. And the choice that I made doing As Blood Runs Black, which became kind of my like credo, my purpose, my meaning, and what I do with music, is fucking shining a light in a dark fucking place. And it's like if you want to be a firefighter, you need fires.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
You got to deal with shit burning if you want to be a firefighter. Like if I want to be able to like do this thing, like I have to go into dark places. Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying?
Dude, 100%. No, that's something where I've in my own world, you know, I do the fundamental things thing, and that's something over time I noticed I started to do a bit more, particularly kind of relating to that of just like, you know, the world's a little fucking crazy, particularly also during like the COVID era, you know.
I was just about to say that's when you like blew the fuck up.
Yeah, because like I'm like, look, like I could focus on this and that, or like I don't know, let's just do some fun shit and make people, you know, like that was kind of my mantra of like, look, if like you had a shit day and you watch some dumb shit I did, and like even if it's cringe or whatever, or you know, if you laughed, if you got a good laugh for a second and you had fun for like a few like a minute, like I'm that is fulfilling to me. You know what I mean? As an entertainer in that space, like that is what gave me much more fulfillment, and that's where I started to realize even myself kind of my purpose in that space, because I would do a bunch of shit like this or covers and this. I'm like, I don't really have an identity of what I do. You know what I mean? It was just like I don't know, I like metal and I kind of do dumb shit and it's fun, and like I like to I've been writing since I was fucking 13 and playing guitar since I was like, but I'm also not the best guitarist really, and like I'm still kind of figuring out songwriting and producing and all that shit. So it was like that became part of kind of the mantra, and people would say it and I would just be like, I guess we do fun metal shit here because that's
so good.
That's the purpose. And every time it's actually kept me in check, because like I would sometimes lean out of that, not purposefully, but I would just you lose sight sometimes of like why you do what you do. And I would always go back when it kind of felt off the path of like, what am I doing right now? And I'm like, is this making the not necessarily what I'm doing is making the world like the best place ever, but like is it fun? Is it fun, and is it providing value to people? Is it also providing a more net positive energy to people than negative? You know what I mean? And like that, like if I pieced out tomorrow of my life, you know what I mean? Like I want to leave that energy behind. I don't want to focus on the negative energy and leave that behind. That's not what I want my life and legacy to be. And that's something which I think I can relate a lot to what you're saying there, of being like wanting to make a place for yourself and leave that kind of mantra, that kind of energy, that kind of peace in a space where it can be tricky, because it's much more fulfilling than I mean, sure, I could talk about a lot of negative stuff, and you make some fucking $200 on AdSense, dude, we're fucking banking right here, dude, and it's just like
sleeping.
And I don't know, like it's not really fulfilling, and also if I wanted to do shit for money, I definitely would probably not be a musician. In a niche. That's probably like
and like before Alexis on Fire plays you out,
dude,
are you gonna be laying in your deathbed like, oh, I shouldn't have made people cringe?
No,
you know what I mean?
No, 100%, man. No,
that's you're exposing someone else's insecurity. Like I've learned this over time. Like when someone's like, oh, that's cringe, it's because you don't enjoy watching me be like fun and have a good time, so you feel weird. That's for you to figure out, bro.
What's cringe is trying to do something for the sake because other people are doing it, and then you also don't do it. Well, that could be, and it's like, well, but if you're yourself and you had fun, who gives a fuck, dude? I always tell people, I'm just like, you having fun, and you're not making other people not have fun, unless they forcefully just think they don't have fun because of somehow you affected their life so badly by you having fun, so now they can't have fun. I'm like, that's their fucking problem.
Straight up.
But you're having fun and enjoying your life, bro, like, bless you, because you are actually probably in the minority, because a lot of people aren't having fun. So if you're able to enjoy your life and have fun, dude, hell yeah, like that's awesome. Like that is a special energy that like is rarer nowadays, and like I applaud that, man. And if you sometimes are cringe doing that, like that's fuck yeah, dude. Like I am the king of that. I've been doing this shit for 12 years on the internet, dude.
Every time you fucking pop up on anything that I'm watching, I just smile immediately, dude.
Aw, dude. Likewise.
And I don't even like the word cringe feels so fucking cringe, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, if you're having like a conversation with someone and you say something weird and they go awkward, you're like, bitch, now it is.
Now, yeah, you made it fucking awkward.
Yeah. It's like when someone says cringe, it's like, you looked in the mirror recently. Dude. I'm pretty sure you're making it cringe by
dude.
You're creating the genre of it, right?
Yeah.
You're
there's
categorizing it.
There's so much like in the world, and there's so much of that negativity, and of course, it's such a weird balance too. And I've had this struggle where like some like real shit's real, you know what I mean, and you have to take it seriously. So obviously, not everything can be a joke or this and that, but it's also one of those things of like figuring out how to have that balance, of like focusing on the positives while kind of taking a bit of the punches of the negatives in a healthy way without it, what I mean, like overshooting. And that's partially even when I left, that was one of those things where I felt like I wasn't able to do that as well because I was dealing in my life with a lot of stuff, and like because I literally told my wife, I was like, this is soon, very quickly, I am going to be bringing much negative energy to what I do, because of what music creative is so intrinsically based on how we do it. It's very hard to fake, you know, that aspect and not be authentic with how you are and your things are going with your life, and not to seep through your creative medium. That like that was part of the reason I was like, I'm gonna leave before this gets bad, because if I don't take care of shit, shit that gets left unchecked, it's gonna seep through, and then that's gonna be, you know what I mean, the thing I leave behind, like shitty me, you know, like shit, bad energy me, and it's just like, for what? Like, it's not fucking worth it, you know.
Dude, like this is like this is the first thought that's coming to my mind, but it's like, it's a really fucking mature choice, dude.
I mean,
hard.
It's
that, you're not that mature. You're a pretty immature dude. But like,
dude, I sit there, I think fart jokes are still fucking funny, dude. Like, I still laugh at like the dumbest shit.
Okay,
like,
you once did something mature, and it was that.
It was what? Thank you, that means a lot, and it's one of those things where it's funny enough, I probably did it for myself more than anybody. You know, it was like, I needed to do it for myself, because if I'm not cool, like, I can't be cool. I can't be there for anybody else. So like, it's like one of those selfish things, and like, I'm so glad I did it. And it's tricky, man. I know, you know, going through what you've had to go through, an extreme thing too. Like, you having to take a step back with what you were doing in your life too. Like, I can relate to you in the capacity of, I know how hard psychologically that element of it is. You know what I mean? Because it is something where, like, you love what you do. You love it. You built your world around it. And then you're, you know, for a second, you're not loving it. And you're like, oh no, what the fuck is happening? And that is one of the scariest feelings I ever had in my entire life. By far is that feeling in that moment, for myself at least.
Dude, I get it, man. You're like, I've put my entire life into this trajectory, and here I am questioning if that was the right choice, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you go like, am I gaslighting myself into thinking that I fucked up my whole life, or am I feeling something that I'm afraid to look at?
Yeah.
That I could literally just take a step back, do some fucking work on myself, and then come back fully fucking recharged. And it's like, dude, exactly is what I decided to do. It's the same exact thing. Like, bro, I love touring. I am asked constantly when I'm going to be back out touring.
Right.
I can't answer, because right now I'm focused on loving exactly what I do. And it's based on having toured full time since I was like 16 and a half, 17.
Jesus, that early. Holy shit.
Yeah. Man. I joined As Blood Runs Black unofficially at like 16 and a half, and then officially at 17.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little kid, dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like fucking go from the second that I could. And it's like, though I didn't have, like, you know, the college experience that a lot of other people have, I also didn't have like the stable adult life thing that a lot of people had. And, you know, I love being able to define what my day looks like. I love being able to fucking spend time with my girlfriend every day. I love being able to spend time with my dog, who is still 1 in my mind, but she's turning 10 soon, and that blows my fucking head off. I love being able to like do all these new hobbies that I'm into. I live close to the beach, so I like every Wednesday and Friday I take like an 8 to 10 mile walk on the beach, and I just like I said, I just like come up with like lyrics and melodies, and like I would never be able to do that, dude. Get some fucking vitamin D and exchange some ions with the ocean.
Yeah.
Do a little grounding and some nerdy hippie shit. And it's there's something so special about being alive, you know, that I don't want to neglect it for the future of like, what happens if like I get more successful? What happens if like fame is truly here and it's not just this imposter syndrome thing that people ask, what's it like? And I go, I don't fucking know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you get that shit all the time? People are like, what's it like being like famous? And you're like, bro, I make videos.
Dude, I think when I go to shows, mainly, like, it doesn't happen very, like, it sometimes happens at Costco. And again, it's very humbling. It actually is how I get it. I'm like, it's very, it's weirdly grounding, because it makes me somewhat realize the effect, not necessarily I have on people, but what the legacy and things I have built over the years have had on people. And it's that humbles me, because obviously the effect that those things have had happened in real time to me. So I don't you know what I mean? Like I don't see the I'm in it every day, you know? So I don't see how this, like every day I don't wake up and see how it has changed my life and how I exist.
Yeah.
However, when there's moments like that and, you know, someone's like, hey dude, like everyone's usually really chill. They're like, dude, I love your videos. I'm like, wow, that like, it always, I don't know, shocks me or takes me back, even that, because it's just like, oh, right, I do that. But like, I don't know. To me, I probably have imposter syndrome for sure. Where it's just like,
I think that's healthy.
I guess so. You know, it grounds me for sure because
Yeah.
it's always like, oh yeah, like that's so cool. You know, so well, dude, I watched your videos through COVID, like or whatever. Me and my girlfriend watch you all the time. Like, dude, thank you. I'm like, that's sick. Like, thanks, yo. And it is very, like I said, it's very humbling those moments and kind of bring you to like
Yeah.
oh, right. I guess what I do is cool. You know, like I know
Mhm.
it's cool and I know it's fun, but it's like, I guess it's cool to some other people. You know, it's just kind of trippy.
Yeah, yeah, and just to like yes and what you're saying
Yeah,
to kind of like alter the way that I
yeah,
asked the question. It's not like if someone comes up to me and says like, dude, like that song was like super big, like I'm not gonna be like, no, it wasn't.
yeah.
You know what
Right,
I
right.
mean?
Like you know,
Oh, dude,
actually, dude,
I
you hated
suck.
this song. I saw it into
Yeah,
your
yeah.
bedroom while you listened. You did not. You know, you come on, dude.
That's I'm talking about like the like again when I was at the dinner the other day and
Yeah,
my girlfriend's cousin was saying like I had anxiety. He also introduced me as like a rock star to somebody else.
that's fun.
And I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, come on, man. I play 5'7", 8", 3 feet off of the ground
578.
on a
All day.
fucking stage with
Hell
some cool lights. And like that
yeah.
doesn't mean shit, dude. Like I also
Hmm.
have to pay my taxes and wipe my ass. And like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like it doesn't that's what I mean is like if
Yeah.
someone's like, bro, what's it like to be like it
Right.
just
Yeah.
feels weird. It just makes you go like, I'm just a regular
Yeah. Like
I'm
it's.
just like you. And I guess my point inside of this is like perception is reality. What
Yep.
other people perceive to be true about you, like you kind of don't get to dictate what that is.
Oh, 100%.
But at the same time, it feels fucking very, very strange.
Yeah.
And it's a challenging thing. I think that's where the imposter syndrome kicks on. Someone
Yeah.
being like, bro, like that song like brought me through a hard time. Like I will always sit down and be like, dude, that means holy shit, like fuck, fuck, fuck.
Yeah.
But if someone says like the trigger words,
Yeah.
the
Right.
hot words where they're just like, dude, what's it like to be a celebrity? It just feels it's
Right.
strange, dude.
It's
And I get it like 3 times in my life, and I'm bringing this up like it's a thing that happens all the time. Fucking doesn't. I feel so uncomfortable with it from the 3 times.
right. 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 I
And
got
I'm
you. I got
asking, do you ever feel that?
you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird
Because
one.
it's like, you know, you don't get trained for that. It's not a natural thing, and we're very
Um,
fortunate in our lives to have been to the, you know, to have done something we love and been
mhm,
successful at it, you know what I mean, and gotten to the
mhm.
point where it's reached people and like has done something in a capacity to their lives, I guess. And yeah, it's tricky because, you know, like you said, it's just like after we do what we do, just like you get off stage or, you know, I finish being a dumbass on Twitch or filming a video or like writing a fucking stupid song, and it's like you get, you know, you go out of your room and then you go outside and you eat some food and you look
For
at, you
dinner.
feed a
Yeah.
squirrel or go out on the beach and you just start like, yeah, life, dude. You know, and you just try to appreciate life. I think I'm leaving has probably gave me the best perspective of my life I've ever had, of particularly stuff like that and like what
Yeah.
actually kind of matters, and like perceptions of people versus perceptions of life, and how life is really how you know you know, want to perceive it and embrace perceiving it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and even as we're having this conversation, I'm like, bro, the way that I pitched this whole discussion is like still not even. It sounds fucking dumb and up my own ass, but it's still not what I'm trying to say.
No, I got
It's almost like the it makes you feel like you need to be something for somebody
you.
else,
Right. Yep, yep.
which is beautiful. The fact that like anybody has ever been in a position where they could be like any kind of role model or inspiration is like one of the coolest things in the fucking world. But the way that I feel is like I would young me be inspired by me today
Right.
is like more what like
Mhm.
fires me the fuck up instead of like I want to live up to the expectation or whatever the fuck those
Yeah.
trigger words are like
Yeah. Mm.
idolizing or celebrity or fame. And dude, I legitimately mean like
Mhm.
3 times in my life I've been asked that, but every time it's like scars me where I'm like, no, 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 no.
Dude, yeah, and I think especially now, it's like I think we both can relate to. It's just like honestly, the thing to live up to is like, and something I would be the most proud of over all these years is like I did what made me happy. Like genuinely, that is one of the hardest things to do and the easiest in life, I think. And like if you can do that when you on the deathbed and you chilling,
Yeah.
I feel and hope that that would provide the most peace to anybody. Is that like perception?
Fuck, dude.
That's dude,
Nailed
we
it.
got fucking deep today here, dude. This
Yeah.
was fucking
Alexis on fire, play us out, dude.
play us
Fuck.
out, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude,
Dude,
Dan.
even if this was just two homies having a conversation, I would
Okay.
walk away the exact same feeling. This
Yeah.
being heard by two people, hopefully one of them is
Yes.
like feels the same way that we feel about this, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be stewing on this
Dude,
conversation for a
me too.
little bit.
Dude, me too.
Yeah,
Dude, and
yeah.
honestly, like, it's always fun shooting shit. And like, dude, I'm so proud of you and things you've,
So
had to
proud of
go
you,
through in
man.
life and things like that, man. And like, mad love and like, genuinely, it's so cool to see people and homies I've seen in the scene over the years continue to kind of focus on life and bettering life and like making sure they're good. Cause like that's the thing I don't see as much in the scene. Everyone's so focused on this
Yeah.
and this and all those things that you were kind of mentioning, like, oh, this or these perceptions instead of just like, are you good, bro? And like it makes me do like genuinely like that makes me happy to know that you're in a good place and like continuing that. And I hope more people take that as like a mantra and like try to focus on them, like their inner their self and like in a way of like, are you good? Like that's like a question I feel like people don't really ask
Yeah,
many
like how
people.
are you? And you're like, oh, I'm good. They're like, no, no, like,
Like you
how are
good?
you?
Yeah, like you good, man. And like I know this was like more of an impromptu, like, dude, like come hang out and shoot the shit. And like, dude, thank you for coming to shoot the shit. And like it means a
Always
lot,
down,
dude.
dude.
And yeah, man, we got to shoot the shit more, man. I feel we
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 do, man.
we
We
do.
got we got a song we got to write about
Yes,
trees. We
dude.
got fucking a new merch drop
Mechanical,
coming, bro.
yes, mechanical trees, dude. We have a whole rollout. We don't need shit. We're like, let's go, dude. This is all fucking. But
Yeah.
Dan, to close this, what is things you got coming up? Whatever you want to plug, anything you surprise can be things you can say. Of course, I know we live in the
Sure.
fun industry world where a lot of things can't be set up. We're doing
Yeah,
this and
yeah,
this and
that's
this. So whatever you can
yeah.
say without getting in trouble with whatever you're working on.
Everything I'm about to say you have to like censor out
I'll
and
just
send
I'll
to
just do a
police.
big relief.
Yeah. Dude, so things are fucking awesome. I'm in the middle of finalizing, like I said, Inside Out Part 2. Super emotionally challenging for me to do that based on the shit I said before.
Mhm.
I'm working on this new project called Blind Light, the stuff that I'm like singing on, that alt 90s shit.
That's it.
I put out little like snippets of it now and again to test the waters, and it's interesting, and it's not for anybody other than myself, and I think that's
Mhm.
why I hope maybe it works, but even if
Right.
it doesn't, the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Because I feel drawn to doing it right now.
Mhm.
Um, doing a lot of co-writing and producing with a bunch of like bands that I'm helping develop, which has been really fun.
That's it.
And my new company Slipstream has been the most exciting thing on my plate lately.
Mhm.
Long story short, which is still probably going to be like minutes of me explaining this. I realized a long time ago, and it kind of came from the As Blood Runs Black days, where I'd be like on a 6-month tour and come home with like $200 and be
Right.
like, "Fuck,
That's
I
not a
made
lot.
$400 this year."
Fuck,
Like,
dude. That's at least it
right?
was positive $400.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. Because
Yeah.
there was zero expenses for sure.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of like identity gap where it's like people are
Right.
like, "Bro, like, how does it feel to tour like all year?" And I'm like, "Can I borrow $3 for a sandwich?"
Yeah. I'll tell you over a sandwich, bro. Just can you buy it? And then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it created this identity gap where I've been constantly trying to like close the gap between like perception and like my reality of what's actually there. And what I realized over time, and it's this like gross, I don't want to point fingers at the industry. I don't want to point fingers at like the dinosaurs who are greedy, who are running the industry. It's kind of just
Yeah.
this like infection of capitalism inside of the industry where like, you know, why is merch so expensive now? Well, it's because the fucking providers of blanks are now charging $8, and then therefore the cost goes up to the printer, and
Yeah.
then the band needs shipping is fucking higher because oil and gas is more expensive, and then it gets to the band,
Right,
and
right.
then they have to pay for fucking merch cuts, and all of a sudden you have a $400 shirt at the merch table, right?
That's,
Like,
yeah, dude. And it's
and the
still
band's like, we didn't,
yeah, it's still a Gildan Black. Don't worry.
right,
No
right, right,
disrespect to
right.
Gildan, except it's just not my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you still walk away like maybe breaking even, right? And
Yeah.
it's this thing with like like beautiful wild live shows, but the expense going into a show is so high that like not all of these bands are taking the lion's share that I hope they deserve based on all their hard work. And it's come to the point where like on my side quest of figuring out how to sustain my shit, I've been able to create an education business on the side that I feel so fucking good about doing, like one-on-one hand-to-hand combat, like helping somebody develop themselves independently, understand more deeply what they could do to like make moves in the industry, get into bands. I can go on and on and on about just how good I feel by helping people, but it's gotten to the point where I realize that like all of my homies, all of my peers are struggling just the same to figure out how do they like supplement or monetize what they do on a day-to-day basis. And this is where I came up with the solution, which is Slipstream. It's all live streaming group lessons. The first thing that I did to kind of beta test it around myself was how to write a song like Ice Nine Kills. Zero relation to what you do. I swear to God.
Well, I'm assuming you can definitely do a better. Yeah. Yeah.
It was really fucking cool, dude. So we had like 100 people purchase tickets for me to write a song in real time. They all voted on the movie that they wanted me to write about. So I
That's
had
sick.
zero prep for it. I showed them my process or how I pull like themes and ideas from the storyline, from the score, blah blah blah. Turned it into a full song, and it was such a fucking good time, and it like legitimately changed a lot of these kids' lives. A lot of these kids started bands together based on meeting each other in the community.
It's awesome, dude. Oh, yeah.
And this was with like zero fucking ad spend. This was just with me doing my thing, and I I made more in that 16 hours of streaming than I did in 300 years of touring in As Blood Runs Black. Right?
Jesus Christ.
Type of numbers,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's like I was like, okay, so people are really, really hungry to connect with professionals on a level where they're getting like direct mentorship
Yeah.
and actual meaningful connection with not only the person that they want to learn from, but also all the people around them. So it creates this like group thinking, like everybody's hustling together, everybody's supporting each other, and it creates a culture, a community. And the next step of what we're doing is I'm getting ready to launch the subscription version of this where I'd be going live every week for just a 1 hour lesson. And there's going to be several different pillars of what I'm
That's
teaching. It's
cool.
going to be
Yeah.
oscillating every 4 weeks. And it's an ongoing thing. But the second that we fine tune this and get it dialed in, I'm getting all the homies to open up their own Slipstream to
Hell
the
yeah,
point
dude.
where it's like everybody should be able to directly do this hand-to-hand combat thing, helping people that want to learn from them while simultaneously monetizing the stuff they do on a day-to-day basis that they're not already monetizing, or just doubling down on how they monetize it.
Mhm.
Right. So it's in an effect a vitamin,
Right.
right? It's a vitamin for like, are you on tour? Well, when you're sitting in the green room for 2 fucking hours, how about once a week you stream and teach 300 people the best warm-ups that you know, and then answer questions for 30 minutes and give direct feedback in real time to those people, and then leave them with a challenge
Yeah.
that next week you get to check in on and develop. And
That's sick.
lo and behold, you're making like a livable income by doing what you already want to do and are
Yeah.
already doing. Um, and it's really, in my opinion, a way that we've designed something that kind of puts the power back in the artist's hands, and it allows them to collaborate and align with the industry as a whole, but while supplementing some vitamins on the side so that it's actually manageable
Mhm.
and not I toured for 6 months and I came home with $400 or
Fuck.
$200. True
Two,
story,
two.
not 400. That would have
Oh,
been a dream,
dude, crazy days, dude. You get 400. That's 200% increase on investment,
bro.
brother. What the
Dude,
fuck,
I
man?
was making a $5 foot long last 3 meals. back in those days.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it's good times.
Good
Don't
time.
get tuna and leave it in your van. I tell you what.
Damn, dude. Well, that sounds super cool. And like, hell yeah, man. I think it's always important. Like, and I say this too. Like, if you provide value to people, then they'll provide it back. You know what I mean? Like, that's always
Dang.
the thing. And like, that sounds like
Yeah.
something obviously you can, as a musician, provide value to people, and that's something really special, man. But dude,
Yeah.
damn, that's super sick, man. And like, I'm stoked. Always, don't be a stranger. Always hit me up when you got stuff going on and all of that. And
You know it. You know it.
hell yeah, man. Always. You guys have ink stuff as well, or probably.
Always.
Oh yeah,
Always do.
that's why it's such a weird thing, because like, as a person, like, we all know when a single comes out, there was things being worked on. You know, it's such like a weird like.
Yeah.
Like it's like just like when bands do the encore, like they do like the like high, like, ooh, you surprised, we came
Yeah.
back. It's like, if there is some kind, like, bands are always working on music, so like that's obviously a capacity thing, but like,
Yeah, you don't see the band member hitting the sample pad that starts an encore chant.
yeah. I just like, yeah, encore. But
Yeah, it's happened.
that's
It's
cool,
happened.
man.
But
What-
dude, like there's a lot going on. There's a lot at play.
Yeah, I got you.
It's really fucking exciting. Like the last thing we did was just like, hey, you guys want to shoot a video at a strip club in 2 days? And we're like, fuck, what the fuck is going
Dude,
on?
I
This is-
watched. It was so funny. Chat was like, "You gotta watch this. The new Ice Nine Kills." And I turn it on. I'm like, you know
That's
what?
Gravedigger, baby.
You guys, what you were going for, eighth. Like, I literally, like, in terms of like whatever the concept board is, I'm like, y'all aced that. Like, it like 100%. It was good.
Yeah,
I was like,
dude.
I did not expect Ice Nine Kills to go for it, and you guys went for it. I'm like, you know what? You guys aced the concept, and I love that.
Yeah,
It was
dude,
fucking crazy. I
it's-
cannot look at Spencer the same after watching that video. Like, 1,000%.
You mean Sunny Charnas, dude? If
Sunny.
Spinal Tap and Steel Panther fucked and both of their STDs canceled each other out,
Jesus Christ.
that's what Gravedigger is. And it's like, sky's the fucking limit with that thing.
Jeez, man.
But it was very fucking fun and very surreal to like show up at a real strip club with working strippers at 10 a.m. before doors open to shoot a video. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going? This is weird.
Yeah, dude.
Weird.
You guys,
Um,
I respect anyone who commits to the cons. You know what I mean? Like, and just goes.
It's a bit. Commit to the bit.
Commit.
It's a bit.
It's
Let's be
exactly that's, if you're gonna go for it, like, go 1,000% into it. And you guys did. I'm like, okay, good, sick. Like, I respect
man.
that.
Yeah, and you can be damn sure that type of debauchery is going to continue in the ways that y'all expect and don't expect, and that's kind of what makes this fun for us, dude. That's what it all comes down to: fun metal things, right?
Fun metal things, dude. I love it, dude. Everyone, Dan Sugarman, the man, the myth, the legend. Guys, go show him the love. Check,
Everybody, Nik Nocturnal, please. Everybody, give him a round of
dude. I'm.
all of the applauses.
You know what? Actually, I'm not real. I'm just AI. This is.
I fucking knew it,
Nah,
dude.
dude. That would be crazy. I would. That would be fun.
big reveal.
Actually, the one thing I wouldn't want to do for sure though is podcast. 'Cause that's like the funnest. This chatting with people and like having like deep conversations. But like, dude, one day we'll get to that point. We'll see how it goes. But Dan, thank you so much, brother. And dude, yeah, we
you, bro.
always feel free to reach out. And I'm stoked for all the stuff you're doing, bro. We gotta keep in touch more. Hell yeah, man.
Let's keep it going, man. Let's do it again.
Sounds
we always
good.
do.
We always keep it going, dude. There we
Fuck.
go.